by the Island Club today or call 877-ISL-SHOW. Then spread some joy because everyone knows your total experience is at the Island.
Teachers are dynamic leaders, shaping a new generation. They bring a variety of perspectives from diverse backgrounds, innovating how they teach to prepare students for our fast-changing world. Achieving this takes skill and expertise. They're tireless explorers, creatively discovering a universe of solutions, telling stories, experimenting, inspiring, mentoring, connecting cultures, and connecting with each other. Leading by example. Experience the unique joy of helping students thrive. Teaching is a journey that shapes lives. Are you ready to begin? Explore teaching at teach.org, a campaign supported by the U.S. Department of Education, Teach.org, and 1 million teachers of color.
I'm Tiffany Haddish.
And I'm Marlon Wayans. African Americans are 3 times more likely to be diagnosed with pancreatic cancer than any other racial or ethnic group.
Access to cutting-edge treatment can help make long-term survival possible.
That's why Stand Up to Cancer and the Lust Garden Foundation have teamed up to bring over 30 pancreatic cancer clinical trials to those who need them.
For more information about the latest pancreatic cancer research and clinical trials near you, visit pancreaticcancercollective.org.
Hey, this is Brad Nortman from KBN. Tune in to Kyle, Brust and Nortman every day from 2 to 5. WKTI and WKTI HD Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station.
Broadcasting live from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All studio at the Avenue in downtown Milwaukee. This is Kyle, Brust and Nortman, KBN on 94.5 ESPN, the Wisconsin On Demand app, and streaming live at ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube.
It is a great day to be alive on this Monday. Despite the fact that the Green Bay Packers sucked, it's still a great day to be alive. Ben Brust, Kyle Wallace, Brad Nortman, all together. Alex Strofe, God knows where he is. Max Myerson in his place, running the show. UKVN Nation with the voice that needs to be heard. 800-990-3776. And on YouTube, at ESPN Milwaukee and at ESPN Madison. Kyle Wallace, our Packer backer. You're exactly what I thought you'd be today. Not overly emotional, just like, oh, it is what it is. I have clarity on this team now.
You know, after yesterday's game, you can kind of see what was going to happen. And so I had a lot of time just to chill, relax, and be upset. So I've been trying to suppress my feelings for almost 24 hours now. I guess not quite 24 hours. Probably about 20 hours been trying to suppress my feelings about how I feel overall.
Let him out.
But
that's not healthy.
I don't want to start the new year going off on people and being mad about some stuff like that. I want my 2025 to be great. And so as of right now, I'm going to.
It's not 2025, so you have 2 days to be emotional.
Well, I wanted to start off being well. I wanted to end after yesterday's garbage of a football game that we had to watch as Green Bay Packers fans. So we'll have 3 hours for me to let it out, I guess. My therapy session.
Well, maybe that you should suppress your feelings until the season's actually over come playoff time and let it just come out like a volcano. Because it feels like everything is moving toward this team's going to make the playoffs and they're just going to lose in the first round, just like we've seen all year round. I mean, watching this game yesterday, where is a team that has any desire to go into a hostile environment, be the man, and pull off an upset? They were lackluster. They were vanilla. They were stagnant right off the gate, and it took them until finally 8 minutes to go in the fourth quarter to finally wake up. How many times do we need to see the same old script from this team to say, look, they're just a good team because they clearly cannot be great teams.
Outcoached, out-executed, outplayed. There's no other way around it. This team did not play well yesterday. You can point to individual performances here and there and be like, oh, there's a bright spot. We're not in bright spot territory. This is week 17 to finally prove to all of Packer fans that have been waiting for you to show that heading towards the playoffs, you can get it done against a quality opponent, and laid a freaking egg. A freaking egg.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it comes down to. We talked about this weeks ago, what this football team was, right? Like, we couldn't get overly excited about what we saw when they beat Seattle, what we saw when they competed against the Lions. At the end of the day, it was all about what will happen when they play against a formidable opponent, an opponent that actually has a chance to make the Super Bowl. And I'll say this right now. I was wrong about the Minnesota Vikings. More importantly, I was wrong about Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold was drafted in the first round because he had first round.
No one cares about your apologize. Sam Darnold.
What I'm saying is this, is that we now know, because you said clarity earlier today. Yeah, we all have clarity as Packers fans. We understand that there's tiers to this. And the Green Bay Packers ain't in the top tier of the NFL, and the Green Bay Packers ain't in the top tier of the NFC as well. The Green Bay Packers are a team that will be lucky, yes, lucky to make it to the Super Bowl. That's what it's going to take. It's
Super Bowl?
Boy, I think it's going to take more than
the
luck.
second round.
Well, I mean, I still think they're a good football team, but the path that is ahead, the Green Bay Packers will be lucky because obviously right now what we found out, they are not good enough to make a run to the Super Bowl where they have to go through really good football teams.
I want to know what everyone's most upset about because there's a lot. Blame game. Go ahead, right off the bat. That's what I want. I want to know what people are frustrated about because I know what I'm frustrated about. 800-990-3776. I'm with Kyle. I'm not going to go Sam Darnold way. I feel bad about myself.
No more?
No, I mean, forget the beads, forget the Super Bowl. I let myself believe that all the little crumbs that the Packers were showing against the garbage teams would ultimately show up in one game, that they could put it all together against a quality opponent, and I was duped. We've all been duped. They've been exactly the whole time. They are who we thought they were. We all didn't want to admit it. But I think yesterday clarified.
But they are who we thought they were.
Yesterday clarified everything that we had an underlying feeling about.
I think you're exactly right. When I look at this team, what upsets me most is that the things that I thought were strengths of this team, I now believe to be either neutral or weaknesses because I never expected the pass rush to be great. They haven't been great all year. I don't really expect a secondary without Jaire Alexander to be effective against an elite unit like the Minnesota Vikings. But there are certain things we've come to rely on, certain things we've come to buy that these are strengths for the Green Bay Packers. And those things were completely off. That's what upsets me the most. The fact that we would expect Jordan Love to play like a top 10 quarterback. We expect Josh Jacobs to look like a stud back, ball protection, take over a game. We expect these receivers to get some space, to get some separation, to be able to cook. We expect a Matt LaFleur-led football team to out-scheme and be prepared compared to the opponent. All of those things, which I would be led to expect and be strengths of the Green Bay Packers, they didn't show up. So to me, it's not the ongoing weaknesses that frustrate me most. It's the seeming strengths that did not show up at all on Sunday. Jordan Love, the rushing the football, Matt LaFleur, those are our strengths, and those were far from strengths on Sunday.
Right now, it just seems to me Matt LaFleur, who we believe in, I understand Matt LaFleur is a hell of a football coach, but Matt LaFleur in these big moments, whether against Philadelphia or whether it's against the Lions this year or whether now against the Minnesota Vikings, Matt LaFleur has been not great, right? He hasn't seemed concise. He hasn't seemed like he fully went out there and he had a game plan and he wanted to stick to it. It felt like sometimes he was coaching kind of scared or coaching without an identity. And when you coach without an identity, your football team has no idea how to react on the football field. And I think that's exactly what we've seen in some of these biggest moments from Matt LaFleur, whether it's the challenges that go nowhere or whether or not it's the not knowing whether or not you're going to kick a field goal or you're going to go for it on fourth down, or whether it's you constantly complaining to the referees a lot of times about some of these bad calls. Bad calls happen, man. They do. That's what the NFL is. It happens on both sides of the football. They suck, but
he looks like my daughter throwing a tantrum.
No, he really does. There's no composure with Matt LaFleur on the sideline. Something goes wrong, whether stagnant offense or a bad call, and he's upset. He's demonstrative.
He is.
You go to Kevin O'Connell. The dude seems so confident, seems so steady that very rarely do I feel like the Packers are outcoached and that the other guy on the other sideline has the advantage. That's what I feel like with Matt LaFleur and Kevin O'Connell.
In the 4 of the losses this year, right? The Philly game so early during the season, but when I look at what happened with Dan Campbell and going for it on fourth down, outcoaching him, right? Actually having an identity of who he is. He didn't hesitate. He didn't kick field goals this time and then go for it on fourth down another. He said, no, this is who our identity is. We're going to go for it on fourth down. We're going to run the ball down your throat. We're going to figure out a way to get this first down. They have an identity. Kevin O'Connell has done a great job of figuring out what that identity is of that football team for the Vikings. The Green Bay Packers are still struggling to have an identity because internally, I think Matt LaFleur is still trying to chase who he is going to be and what type of coach he wants to, what type of way he wants to coach.
800-990-3776. We did an exercise. One word to describe Matt LaFleur as a coach. I don't know when we did it, but I remember the word I used. And everything you just said affirmed that I was right. Not that I'm looking to be right. He's a chameleon. He on days that things are going really well, he'll go to the sideline interview to halftime and be like, "Oh yeah, everything." Like when he's frustrated, he lets his emotions come out in that interview, right? Like he goes with how the emotions are playing on the field, where head coaches need to be above all that because that trickles down.
I mean, the guy complaining about the dang wave with the fans.
Wave! I mean, the wave!
We got to simmer down.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, that is
simmer
absurd.
down. It's just your focus. You have to be locked in on something. And again, it's hard for me to explain it, right, because I'm not a psychologist, but we all see it, right? We all see in these big moments, whether or not we go all the way back to the game against, I believe it was the Rams in the playoffs, or Buccaneers in the playoffs, it might have been, where we struggled against the Buccaneers and we didn't go for it on fourth down or something happened there. We kicked the field. It just seems to me that he is never prepared for the biggest moments, and he's making poor decisions sometimes in some of these biggest moments, which ultimately is costing the Green Bay Packers, in this case, growth and development to get to where they really want to go.
800-990-3776. Ricardo in Canada. You're typically Mr. Optimistic. I'm curious if you can spin zone this one for me.
Nah, man. My DJ days are over. This team is cooked right now. Matt LaFleur, you guys nailed it on the head. Matt LaFleur, that guy, he just gets gunshine in big games. Listen, when it comes to big games like this, we're playing quality opponents, you can't play scared. He coaches like we have a third-string quarterback, and Kevin O'Connor coaches like he has a top-3 quarterback in the league. Like, everything that we did on offense looked so bloody difficult. The way we ran, our play schemes, our play option, just everything looks so difficult. It's like he's afraid of letting Jordan Love just play the game. Jordan didn't have his best game, but his opportunities were so minimal. You have Tucker Kraft. You have Luke Musgrave. Use your tight ends. Go max pro if you guys can't pass protect. Like, you need to just let it loose a little bit. Stop playing so close to the vest. Defensively, it is what it is. We're undermanned. Our quarterbacks play pretty decent compared to what they're up against. So this is all offense. Our offense is going to win us and lose us games. It's not the defense giving up 27 points is part of the course. The offense scoring nothing until the last quarter. Don't give me that. You guys need to get ahead of the game and you need to start earning your money. Let Jordan Love play. Let him get in a rhythm. That's where your bread and butter is. Don't coach like you have Matt Flynn in the backfield, for Christ's sake.
You know, Ricardo, you brought up an interesting point that I want to play off of here, right? The Jordan Love and Josh Jacobs. Maxie, I don't know if you have access. If you don't, I can put it up on Twitter at KBN ESPN. But do the Packers have an offensive identity crisis? Do they have an offensive identity crisis? Because the way Ricardo's talking about it, let Jordan Love loose. But all we've been talking about the last 4 to 5 weeks is, oh, Josh Jacobs is so great. We got to lean on the run. We got to establish the run. And that might be impacting a little bit of the Jordan Love confidence, the Jordan Love rhythm word that he used in there in his call, right? That's a word that we've known is consistent with Jordan Love going back to when he was great the last 10 games of the season. He was in rhythm. He was slinging the ball. And when it comes to a slow start, we saw it the first game against the Vikings, right? And there was some injury in there. We can talk about it, sure. But he got in a rhythm the second half. It was too late. It was too late this time. If you're going to be an elite team, you need to be more prepared offensively as a coach. Tausche said it. Actually, I would love to hear Tausch right now, Max. You got Tausche? Because Mark Tauscher on the Green Bay Game Night Show just said it how it was. And it's always good when the toad Mark Tauscher will pick it a little green and gold.
I thought Kevin O'Connell ate LaFleur's lunch today. LaFleur has got to, I love his passion. He's got to get himself under. I feel like he lets his emotions get the better of him too many times. He is just over there and just, you see and feel. Players want to see calmness. You want to see a coach go crazy from time to time. You can't be every third down that doesn't happen or every penalty. It can't be every time something bad happens, there's a blank storm.
Couldn't have said it better myself, Tausche. 800-990-3776. Again, 800-990-ESPN. Jeff in the 920. It doesn't matter what seed the Packers are. They're not going to beat a good team on the road. or at home. Matty Mouse, I retired that, but I think I'm going to have to bring it out today, will choke in any close game. He's been outcoached in every close game against good teams. We'll continue to play the blame game. We'll continue to get your thoughts. 800-990-3776. Kyle, Brust and Nortman across ESPN Wisconsin, hearing from you, KBN Nation, next.
This is Kyle, Brust and Nortman, KBN.
You should be happy Pac-Man Jones had this on his headphones, or he definitely would have pulled up on you.
I think Pac-Man's lucky I didn't have this on my headphones.
Oh, you right.
I would have been. I'm really feeling swaggy and confident.
You say, yeah, you're in my space. What you gonna do?
Because even just hearing the song, like, for those who on the YouTube, they can see I'm bobbing my head right now. Like, this is like, okay.
Go ahead, say
ski on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com. Greg Matzek, Gary Ellerson, the day after reaction show you need in your life.
This offense, Matt LaFleur's side of the ball, dragged this whole team through where they are right now.
It's Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Mondays with Greg and Gary.
The defense got hot at the right time. That might be what we're seeing here with the Packers defense as well.
Live from the Potawatomi Sportsbook Studios from 6 to 8 p.m. every Monday on 94.5 ESPN.
This is Matt Meitner, owner of Sit Means Sit Dog Training. Do you find yourself talking to your dog but feel like she's not listening to you?
Bella, sit!
Are you constantly repeating yourself but she's not following your directions?
Sit! Sit!
Frustrating, isn't it? At Sit Means Sit Dog Training, we want to help you have a happy, confident, and obedient dog, and we also want to make the training process an enjoyable and worthwhile experience. Contact Sit Means Sit today to schedule a free consultation so we can create a customized training program so you are able to have the dog you want and deserve.
Sit Means Sit Dog Training. Sorry, we don't train husbands, wives, or kids.
Why is life better with American Family Insurance? Because every policy comes with something very special. A trusted agent who's there to help protect your dreams by finding the right coverage at the right price. Save up to 23% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Landworks is the locally owned landscape company to elevate the look of your home or business. Landworks is different because of customer service. From the crew to the salesperson to the admin team, you're in good hands with Landworks. Their sales and design teams are made up of horticulturists, licensed landscape architects, and passionate plant people. Their landscape architects and horticulture team members are also project managers. This means you'll have a single point of contact from initial design through completion of work. See their amazing work for yourself at landworkswisconsin.com.
Dr. Aaron Holtebeck and his team at Holtebeck Eye Center make vision care a top priority with the latest technologies at their state-of-the-art Brookfield office. Dr. Holtebeck has been helping local patients with their eye care needs for over 20 years. And now, Holtebeck Eye Center is excited to add Dr. Nausheen Abbas to their team. Dr. Abbas is an ophthalmologist and cornea specialist that is now available to see patients. Located in Brookfield near the corner of Calhoun and Capitol, learn more about their services at holtebeck.com.
Change your grocery game plan to locally owned Century Foods, home of the best meat, freshest produce, and tastiest treats.
And free groceries.
Okay, just calm down. We'll get to that later.
Stay tuned in right here to score free groceries.
Stop, please.
Okay, I'm shutting up. My lip is zipped.
Anyway, let's get to this week's specials at Century Foods.
Now through Wednesday, save on 4.75 to 8 ounce selective varieties Frito-Lay Lays or Kettle Chips, 2 for $5. 18 to 80 count selective varieties Hefty Trash or Kitchen Bags, $7.99. 7.9 to 11.5 ounce selective varieties Bear Creek Dry Soup Mix, 2 for $7. 14.3 to 26 ounce selective varieties Farm Rich Appetizers, $4.99.
And now time for the big reveal, free groceries.
Try this. Win free groceries from Century Foods.
Win free groceries from Century Foods.
Forget it. I'll handle the rest. Enter to win $500 worth of free groceries on Century's Facebook or Instagram by January 8th.
Tracy Lawrence for the U.S. Air Force.
We all have tough choices we have to make. Life just works that way. I remember when I was getting ready to move to Nashville to pursue my dream, I packed my 10-year-old Toyota Corolla with 250,000 miles on it and hit the road. It was a tough choice, but the right one for me. If I decided to take what seemed like an easier road, I never would have achieved my dream. You can do anything if you put your mind to it. This message is brought to you by the U.S. Air Force.
This is Kyle, Brust and Nortman, KBN, on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Blame it on the lose, got you feeling loose. Blame it on the drum, got you in the zone. Blame it on the.
Just tell us what you're feeling, because this is a therapy session, no doubt. I've been duped. I started to believe that what the Green Bay Packers were putting together week by week would accumulate to eventually beating a good team in a big moment. Wrong again, Ben. Wrong again. Ben Brust, Kyle Wallace, Brad Nortman, Max Myerson is in for Alex Strofe. UKBN Nation at 800-990-3776. And like I said, the phone lines and the text line and YouTube, it is for you. Jeremy in Florida, you're up on the phone lines, 800-990-3776. What are you feeling right now?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Not too much.
All right, what I'm feeling right now,
kind of a lot.
A lot of people are saying that they need to take the reins off of Jordan Love, but in a lot of cases they need to put them on him, because why are you going for a long shot down the field, 20, 30 yards on 3rd and 4, when all you have to do is hit the guy going across the middle? Why is it always this throw the ball, get the chunk yardage? All we need is 4 yards. Just get the 4 or 5 yards, let them get the yak yardage, and play ball like that sometimes. Why do you think Jared Goff and the guys are doing so good now? Because he finds the check down. He finds the open guy.
Well,
thank you, Jeremy, for the call.
Yeah, I mean, good observation. This is what I will say, though. When you think about Jared Goff and the Detroit Lions, he's got Ben Johnson, right? Brilliant play caller, sets him up for success. Kevin O'Connell, we know he sets quarterbacks up well for success. Look at what Sam Darnold's doing. Now, they are following up with good, accurate quarterback play. But here's where I feel like Matt LaFleur lets his emotions, his decision-making fall apart in these big games, because he's not allowing Jordan Love to get into rhythm with easy throws, with easy plays. I mean, it's not like it's a surprise that Brian Flores-led defense is going to blitz a bunch, right, Kyle? What was that stat we were talking about pre-show? 26 to 35 dropbacks, like that were blitzes. So no surprise you're going to get blitzes. Where are the easy passes? Where are the quick passes? Where are screen plays? Anything to combat that and give Jordan Love some confidence and some rhythm.
Couldn't we have learned from the Lions? They ran like 10 of them against us.
I know, and it's so easy. It's easy plays to get them into rhythm. And then when Jordan Love is not in rhythm, he tries to manufacture rhythm. Ooh. And that is when he is throwing it down the field, making the hard throw. He's doing too much. He's manufacturing it too much. It's on LaFleur and Love to establish that early, and there's no excuse why you can't do that early, because then Jordan Love will be all over the place trying to manufacture that rhythm that he knows he needs.
And I think the biggest thing that sucks for Jordan Love overall with Matt LaFleur and what you just talked about, the fact that Matt LaFleur just, he's forcing Jordan Love to manufacture that rhythm, is on drive number 2 of this football game. The thing that baffled me the most is I understand Josh Jacobs fumbled on the first drive, but that's your workhorse, right? He fumbles, you pat him on his butt, you say, hey, go get him. He didn't touch the ball that next drive at all because they were 3 and out, and it was a deep pass to the left to Romeo Dobbs, and another deep pass to Dontavian Wicks, and then an incomplete pass to Jaden Reed. So at the end
reading is good. Can you start the story now?
And so, but my whole point is this: is that Matt LaFleur is not putting Jordan Love in a position to be successful, and putting your team not in a good position to be successful where you have no rhythm whatsoever. You're not going back to what got you there is running the football. To me, it puts the Packers in a bad situation. It puts this offense in a bad situation, and that's why when I look back to who I put the blame on, this falls all on Matt LaFleur. He lacks the composure needed. He lacks the fact that he's going to have some type of rhythm to find on offense. But at the end of the day, he's lacking the leadership needed in order for this team to be great. Well, so right now, he has to be better.
It's interesting you say that, right? Because compare Kevin O'Connell to Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold, he's had a couple games with multiple interceptions, right? Aaron Jones has fumbled the ball. He's kind of a history of fumbling, but that doesn't keep away from his confidence in them to let it rip and give Aaron Jones the ball. And that was shown over the course of this last game yesterday. So you're right. Josh Jacobs fumbles. We're going to go in kind of a different direction. Jordan Love seems to be off rhythmically. We're going to take the ball out of his hands. There's too much reaction. Matt LaFleur is a brilliant schemer. I believe that. I will always believe that.
Do you believe he's brilliant? I believe he's an above average play caller. Like he is. When you're calling for a guy to throw some screens out there because they're blitzing it on 22 of whatever attempts or whatever it is, like he's making the play calls. He's the one who's got to create the easy opportunities for his guys.
Other things are getting in the way of his ability to think and decision make. So
That's not okay.
I think it's not okay, but I think he's a great play caller and schemer. But like in these big games, when he gets frustrated, when he gets frazzled, he lets that mislead his judgment and his thought process. And then all of a sudden it comes out in all these different ways. Challenge flag and bad timeouts and bad situation. He allows those moments to become too big. But I believe he is a great schemer. He just needs to stay true to
Matt LaFleur is getting cooked right now on the text line.
He should.
I'm just saying, 800-990-3776. If you want to call in and tell us your thoughts on Matty Mouse LaFleur.
Oh, wow.
You sure can.
So wait a minute. So you going to bring it out right now?
I mean, it's the perfect opportunity to bring it out.
I thought you had...
I coached a really good game. We're 0-5 against all the better teams in the NFC.
And I think the bigger conversation to have overall is that...
Referee, what are you doing? Stop that.
The bigger conversation to have with Matt LaFleur, something that me and Homer talked about last week, is the fact that Tony Dungy was the head football coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They fired him. They moved on. They brought in John Gruden. They won a championship. At what point will we get to the point where we say maybe Matt LaFleur may not be the guy to take this team to the mountaintop? We have to find somebody.
I brought this question to the table 2 weeks ago. Did I not? I said, what is Matt LaFleur's signature playoff win? And everybody 2 weeks ago was like, oh, obviously the Cowboys came last year. And now today I'm seeing, oh my gosh, the Cowboys game was fool's gold. Someone tell me what it is.
Well, that seems extreme. Who are you going to get that's better than Matt LaFleur?
Was it not extreme to fire Tony Dungy this is a long time ago. We were younger.
Yeah, whoa.
When he got fired, he was the head football coach of a very good Buccaneers football team that ended up having multiple Hall of Famers on it, but he could not win a championship. Now with Matt LaFleur, we saw him with Aaron Rodgers, one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, right? Weren't able to get over the hump. Some poor decision-making that he had and poor performances by his quarterback led to them not reaching the pinnacle of winning a Super Bowl title. Now we're seeing early on, he's a great coach during the regular season. He obviously knows how to develop talent, but now we need to see him get to the point where he's going to actually win a Super Bowl. And what we're seeing right now is the fact that this guy, he has not been able to win a big game this season when there was actually pressure. It's not easy to win when you have no pressure.
Come to me.
But last year,
you're like the same person as me right now.
I'm not giving up on Matt LaFleur. All I'm doing is I'm pointing out the fact that there may be some flaws in Matt LaFleur overall, and this season and next season he's gonna have to figure it out.
Kyle, Brust and Nortman across ESPN Wisconsin, reacting with you to the horrific. I don't even want to say the score because it's so misleading.
It's so misleading.
27-25, the Vikings beat the Packers. But as you say that, Kyle, it just it brings me back to, again, I agree. I will give him a pass because Aaron Rodgers didn't do anything with the 3 interceptions that he got in 2020 against the Buccaneers. But in that moment, I was like, all right, is Matt LaFleur ready for this type of game? Kicks a field goal when it's 4th and goal, made a one-score game a one-score game. They never got the ball back, right? Obviously, they've had other losses in the playoffs, but now we're getting to the point where it's like I don't care anymore about your regular season, right? Like, it's about what you're doing to set up your team to show success in the playoffs and win a big game. Somebody please tell me, and I mean this, what is the biggest game Matt LaFleur has ever won?
Well, it is the Vikings game. It's not the Vikings, the Cowboys game from last year. That's for sure the biggest game.
Look at them now.
I will say, guys, weren't we praising Matt LaFleur for bringing the youngest team in NFL history to the playoffs and winning a Super Bowl game? This team's even younger now.
A Super Bowl game? Did you mean playoffs?
The playoffs, yes, in the Super Bowl era. So there is a level of impressiveness to what he's doing. Now, I'm saying he deserves all the criticism he's getting this week and this year against the top teams. But I want to know who's better than Matt LaFleur, one, to bring this team to a greater point. And we have to also remember, the receivers are dropping balls. They're getting no pass rush. They have a secondary that without Jaire is decimated. Like, there is enough blame to go around to where I'm saying,
all right, then blame. This is the game. What do you want to say to Goody? Do better?
Yeah, I mean, hit your first-round draft picks. I mean, the pass rush continues to be a problem. You've got guys like Sam Darnold having all the time in the world back there. When you give that quarterback, who's playing great, right? He's playing better than Jordan Love is this year. With those kind of weapons, he will cook you. That's exactly what he did. A secondary that has not been able to find a way outside of Xavier McKinney to find any sort of support when Jaire is out of there. This team is so mid on defense without Jaire. The pass rush stinks, and you've got these receivers that, we're going to get to this later, but boy, oh boy, receivers that say, well, okay, we're great. We're all wide receiver ones.
See,
guess what? None of them are wide receiver ones.
The defense deserves some slander because we all saw that performance, and they just allow for Sam Darnold to have too much time. But there's no way in this world that you should have 3 points, and I think Marco, whatever his name is, Ricardo called in. Shout out to Ricardo from Canada. But 3 points in the first half isn't good enough, right? This is back-to-back games that you basically had zero offensive output in the first half against the Minnesota Vikings. You have to be better than that. The excuse last time was the fact that Jordan Love was coming off an injury. You have no excuses right now. Yeah, you're missing Christian Watson, but you showed that you could be productive without Christian Watson before. You had your offense. Matter of fact, even Luke Musgrave was back, but you still failed offensively to find some type of consistency and rhythm, and you did not put up enough points for this team overall. So this is why when I look at the defense, yes, they didn't play great, but the offense is the reason why they lost this football game, because you can't sit there and get down 20-3 and then try to mount a comeback and fall up a little short and say, oh, our defense didn't make a stop. No, you didn't execute enough in the first quarter, in the second quarter, to put your team in a position to be in a position to win football games, because they got a turnover. Carrington Valentine got the one turnover for the Green Bay Packers, but the game was too out of hand at that point to even make it matter.
800-990-3776. I'm reminding myself, and I'll remind everyone else to please take a deep breath. Or don't, because it is frustrating. I mean, they are 0-5 against the top 3 teams in the NFC as they head into the playoffs, likely as a 7 seed, going all the way to Philadelphia. Yuck.
Does any part of you guys feel a little bit of this is sort of the silver lining to where your expectations have now been shattered, to where we're not going into the playoffs?
Oh yeah, don't worry. I'm already ready for Kyle Wallace next week. Oh, this is great. I don't expect us to do anything. Yeah, and then they're going to be like, yeah.
No, expectations should be lowered now.
You should feel very little stress because we know who this team is.
Before you were thinking this team you saw everybody talking about it. We talked about it. The team may be able to make it to New Orleans and go down to a Super Bowl. Now we know.
I love when you blow the whistle that nobody listening knows that there's beads on the whistle, and the whole point of the whistle is that the Packers would be playing in New Orleans.
In New Orleans, the beaded whistle. Yes, the beaded whistle. But at this point, we know that ain't going to be no whistles blown from Green Bay Packers, and if there are, it'll be a miracle, right? It'll be an absolute miracle. So for me right now, yes, my expectations are, hey, whatever happens in the playoffs happens. Let's see what we can do. Let's see how we can build on for next year. But next year's going to be a big year, not only for Jordan.
It's sad though because
I know I'm seeing draft. I'm seeing next year. Man, even Kyle the Packerbackers dead.
I know when Ricardo in Canada, when Kyle Wallace, I know Love and Football on our YouTube chat has always been just Packer.
Optimism only.
When they're throwing in the white towel, holy cow, that's why I know there's a problem.
I wore my Super Bowl from 2010-2011 season shirt just so I can have good memories of what it's like to be a champion.
Look at that.
I wore it today. You can see it on YouTube.
On YouTube at ESPN Milwaukee and at ESPN Madison.
That team was a wild card team.
Kyle has a coping mechanism and is wearing Green Bay Packer gear.
Nostalgia.
Championship gear.
Weapon.
We did it before. We've been champions before. So we're definitely going to try to be champions again. So, overall, NFC Championship would be great. A Super Bowl, I will be shocked, fellas, and it's sad.
Well, it was really warming to my soul. I woke up this morning and I, drove by as I went from St. Louis to Milwaukee. I drove right by the Princeton Club in New Berlin. I was like, I can't wait to get back there. It's been a long week away. Get my workout in, get a steam in. And there's 2 days left to lock in the lowest rates of the year, the best rates. Get the best rate of the year right now at the Princeton Club. Today or tomorrow, get it done because they have childcare with your membership, open 24/7. It's all there for you. Find something that you love, and they'll provide an excellent and clean experience for all of you. The Princeton Club, 8 Madison locations, 1 in New Berlin. For a better tomorrow, join the Princeton Club. I see your calls, 800-990-3776. We will get to your calls, and we will get to a whole lot more. Kyle, Brust and Nortman across ESP Wisconsin with you till 5 o'clock.
This is Kyle, Brust and Nortman.
I put my card in, I pump. When it clicks, I pull it out, I put it away, and I move on to my own.
That's what she said. Thanks so much, Olte.
She pumps and moves on with her life.
Take it out, put it in, moves on with her life. Come on, Kyle. Keep up. That's Packers Hall of Famer. That was one of my better ones, and he's confused.
Well,
he's still fixated on Lola Bunny.
No,
from
I don't
earlier.
think she says that.
On ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Gift giving is easy with an Island Resort and Casino gift card. Every person on your list can spend their time just the way they like it. Dining, going to a concert, relaxing at the Drift Spa, playing golf. No matter the reason, gift cards to the Midwest's premier resort destination are a sure bet. To order gift cards, stop by the Island Club today or call 877-ISL-SHOW. Then spread some joy because everyone knows your total experience is at the Island.
All you have is one chance after an accident, one decision on who to call, one shot to get the help you need. Don't waste it on the one offer you get from your insurance company. Make the one call to Gruber Law Offices. It's the only one you'll need to make. Call us today. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Football season. Best time of the year and my favorite time of the year. This is ESPN Wisconsin's Brad Nortman. On game days, my favorite teammate is a cold carbless in my hand. Premium cocktails in a can made right here in the great state of Wisconsin. Maybe it's when I'm at the tailgate ahead of kickoff or getting ready at home for the game. Carbless is there. Zero sugar, zero carbs, and gluten-free. Carbless features classic cocktails like margarita, Paloma, and even Moscow Mule, and vodka cocktail flavors like cranberry, lemon, and peach. Find it on your next grocery trip. Carbless. Less is more. Winter is here. Don't let your car care take a back seat. Protect your car against rust, salt, and grime this season at Tsunami Express Car Wash. Tsunami Express makes cleanup a breeze with their state-of-the-art wash technology, powerful free vacuums, and convenient unlimited wash memberships. Try their new best-in-class T2 with graphene wash for the ultimate long-lasting shine and protection. Tsunami Express Car Wash. Wash, chill, repeat. Try your first wash free when you sign up online at TsunamiExpress.com.
Ho, 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 my back.
Santa?
Ho, 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 Gina Della from Pella. You've been a good girl this year.
Is that why you're in here building new windows?
Yes. Next year, how about just asking for a Pella gift card? My elves are used to designing windows from other places where they're all pretty much the same. But Pella? Ho, 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 so many customizations and designs. My elves aren't qualified, so Santa has to put in some overtime. Ho,
Let me make a call. BRB.
Frighteningly fast pellet team at your service. Let us take it from here, Mr. Claus. And Gina, next time.
Yeah, I know. Santa already lectured me. Ask for a Pella gift card.
What if you need new windows or doors, but you're on the naughty list?
Right now at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, get as low as $19 per window and $81 per patio door per month.
Ho, ho, ho! Visit the Pella site, and to all a good night.
PellaWI.com. Certain restrictions apply. Ends 12/31/2024.
Hi, I'm Vanessa Williams, and I want to share with you the role that diabetes has had in my family. I lost my grandmother at the early age of 64 due to complications with diabetes. She was warm, generous, and a constant encouragement for me to follow my heart. Did you know that African Americans experience chronic kidney disease at a rate that's 25% higher than white Americans? And we're almost 4 times more likely to develop kidney failure. Diabetes and high blood pressure are leading causes of kidney disease, which can result in kidney failure, needing dialysis, or a kidney transplant. The good news is that you have the power to check out how well your kidneys are doing and learn ways to prevent them from failing. So go to your doctor and get yourself checked out. Visit linkbylovetv.org to learn more. Get the facts, get checked, and get healthy.
This is Kyle Brust and Nortman, KBN, on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Blame it on me, blame it on the night. Don't blame it on me, don't blame it on
800-990-3776 is the ESPN Wisconsin talk and text line. You can get us on YouTube at ESPN Madison, at ESPN Milwaukee, as our great digital content producers are working on the stream as we speak. A bunch of talented group of individuals. We're so blessed to have them. Happy New Year to you all. But Joe in Milwaukee, I hope you're feeling something about what happened yesterday, because if you don't have a pulse. pulse? What are you feeling?
Well, I have a pulse. I'm not as worried like you guys are. I believe that this is more of a 3 to 5 year plan than what we had last year.
Chess.
I think once we beat Dallas, obviously that raised the bar a lot higher than almost beating San Francisco. So naturally, I think the Packers are where they are right now, until they get a couple more studs. I mean, you think about it, what do we get out of our first round pick this year?
Diddly squat, IR.
We never do, though.
Diddly squat. Oh, exactly. It's always, the others that are second round or later that tend to produce at a much higher level. But like I said, when you look at it, you guys make some great valid points about setting the tone, easy passes, quick release, getting some screens out there. I mean, a tight end screen with Kraft is turning into one of the better tight ends in the league. How can you not, do something like that, especially against a heavy pass rush? Also,
Joe.
By the way, before
go ahead.
About the Packers, I did win one of those Player Most Prize packs from you guys. Fantastic! I got it the other day.
Oh, congratulations, Joe, and we appreciate the shout-out to our great partner, Palermo's. Like I say on Fridays, you never know what's going to be in the prize pack, but Joe hit the jackpot, 800-990-3776. Here's the thing. Joe, seasoned vet, been through this. I'm not going to lie. The way this season has gone, and based off the success last 10 games of last season, and coming as close, like he said, to San Francisco, it's natural as a Packer fan, number one, where expectations are going to be high. Everyone's like, who set these high expectations? The fans every year. It's win the Super Bowl. Aaron Rodgers says it every year. Jordan Love will be saying it every year. And if he doesn't say it, it's the underlying expectation. So the frustration today comes from the fact that it was another opportunity to prove to Packer fans that Lombardi trophy was sort of in the sight line. It feels a little bit further. It does feel closer to Joe's 3 to 5 year plan. But in that 3 to 5 year plan, then we can go back to another conversation of how we got here, and that's the Goot Mass, the Goot Mania.
Yeah, there's no reason why, if you have an experienced and a high caliber head coach, which I do believe the Packers have in Matt LaFleur. He hasn't shown it in every moment this year, nor yesterday, but he's a good head coach. You got a good franchise quarterback, and you got some playmakers. You got a couple studs. There's no reason why you shouldn't be in the Super Bowl equation every year. I think that's what's hurtful about yesterday's loss, and the losses against great teams all season long, and the lack of hope we have going into the playoffs, is that this team really isn't that close to actually winning a Super Bowl. Now, they are right in the thick of things with being a good team. They're exactly where they should be. They should be a wild card team. But to hear 3 to 5 year plan?
That was a joke.
That must kill you a little bit, Kyle Wallace.
This isn't a 3 to 5 year
What's
plan.
his 5 year plan? Don't die?
Yeah, I don't know what
You're on fire today.
I don't know what the 5 year plan would be, but I think some of the biggest issues that we as Packers fans have for today is point blank, this team has not progressed the way we thought they have. I won't say they regressed, but what I will say is last year you saw this football team go to Detroit and get a victory. Last year you saw this football team host the Kansas City Chiefs, who went on to win a Super Bowl and get a victory, right? Last year you saw them win in the playoffs against the Cowboys. You saw them to compete against the 49ers. So what you would think, right, logically, is that the team last year brought all the players back. They're a year more experienced. So translated to this year,
I agree 100%.
You would think that all of a sudden they would be able to win one of those games. Going 0-5 against the 3 teams ahead of you is shameful, is disappointing, and it's basically lackluster. This is not the progress we wanted to see as a football team. So this is why I think a lot of us are upset, is because we are not seeing that next step being taken. We all were fooled by thinking the Green Bay Packers were ready to be championship caliber because they were able to compete against the 49ers, but lo and behold, the Green Bay Packers are still at least a year away.
800-990-3776. Andy and Waukesha, you're up next on the ESPN Wisconsin talk and text line.
Good afternoon, guys. I wanted to chime in on the Packers pass rush you touched on.
What are you talking about?
Leader...
I didn't see any. Nailed it!
Well, not just yesterday, but the current leader for sacks for the Packers is Rashawn Gary, who is tied for 42nd in the NFL with 6.5 sacks.
Oof.
Some other notable names of those who have more sacks: include Aiden Hutchinson, who played 5 games for the Lions before breaking his leg. He's got 7.5. Andrew Van Ginkel, Wisconsin's own, he's got 12.5. Jonathan Grenard, the Vikings' other defensive end, has 11. Their third defensive end has 7, Patrick Jones. I mean, Van Ginkel and Grenard signed last
Stop,
season.
Andy, stop. It's painful.
No, I got a better one. Well, also I'm calling from Waukesha. Will McDonald.
Oh, yeah.
Selected 2 picks after Lucas Van
That
Ness.
was a pick swap, too, with the Jets.
Oh, we were so proud of Goody getting that done. And, boy, Will McDonald plays for an awful football team that is often behind. There's not as many opportunities to rush the passer. He's got 10 sacks. I won't talk about Lucas
But we got
Van Ness.
LVN. We got LVN, right?
Oh.
Isn't that great?
Well, we've got Wyatt, we've got Stokes, we had Savage. There's plenty to put on Matt LaFleur's plate. But boy, the Goody stands don't really want to talk about how the GM in Minnesota, we're talking about Kevin O'Connell and his poise. Well, maybe that's because he's got a GM who, when his left tackle, all-pro Darisaw, went down.
So, Andy, here's what I'm going to do for you, okay? When Mark Tauscher joins us next, he is the Goot Stan of ESPN Wisconsin. I'm going to put Old T on the hot seat and remember everything that Andy and Waukesha told me, because I think that, as he mentioned, we're going to do it today. We're going to get to Goot, because he brings up a lot of valid points, and we have harped, Brad and I, because Kyle wants to see the good in everything. If the Packers were to be in a better spot going from last year to where they were to this year, and obviously said they are 0-5 in these games, you know what helps is when you hit the guys in the early rounds, because typically when you hit those, they're going to have more of an impact. And they just haven't had those guys. Even the one that is good is MIA. My knee.
Oh, I'm going to say, who was good? Jaire, yeah. He's hurt. No, I can't. There's no disputing the first-round picks have been lackluster, have not lived up to potential that we needed them to. And that's why the defense is in the position that we're in.
Sean in Bayview, you're up next, 800-990-3776. A lot of wisdom from KBN Nation on the ESPN Wisconsin Talking Text line. You're up.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I get really frustrated when they lose that game and only seem to be able to perform for a few minutes, but I think it's important to remember exactly how good the Vikings and the Lions are. I mean, I hate to say it, but they haven't been this good in a very, very long time, and I would really like to see how some of those Rodgers crews would do against these teams right now. Probably not as good either, because if you do look at those years LaFleur coached Rodgers and Jordan Love, the offense looks sometimes just as disjointed.
I think and you're right. I mean, this is the best the Lions and the Vikings have been maybe in our lifetime. Maybe I guess the Vikings team had Randy Moss. They went 15-1. The problem is in the NFC, just the NFC, we're not even talking about the AFC. There's always these teams, right? Like when I was playing, it was the Panthers for 1 year. It was the Falcons for 1 year with Matt Ryan. It's the Eagles 1 year. There are different teams that may cycle through as the top tier in the NFC. The problem is the Packers
have been the Niners, the NFC the last 3 years.
The Rams for a year. There's always that top tier of NFC teams. And the Packers never feel like they can beat those teams. They can't beat them in the playoffs, and they can't beat them in the regular season now. If the Packers are going to change this, they got to start doing something different. I mean, for real, you got to hit the first-round picks. You have to hit the first-round picks, and you have to find yourself a wide receiver one. Something has to change.
It's getting really boring coming on here and being, all right, let's do it. Let's go through the first-round picks, and then they'll just be like, all right, there they are. This stinks.
Yeah.
It's literally the conversation we have when we go through that, and it's just deflating.
And the teams that do, and right now it just happens to be the Eagles and the Lions and the Vikings, those teams nail their first-round picks.
Undisputed number 1 overall pick. Gina Della from Pella.
Oh, she always is. Gina Della from Pella. And Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin are the best when it comes to changing those windows and doors that are drafty. You feel them now, especially in the winter months, because the cold comes in. That means the warm escapes. Now with Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, and they will lead you to bringing forth a home that is completely rejuvenated, that goes up in value, decreases your energy bill, changes the entire fabric of your home and your space, all all with new Pella windows and doors of Wisconsin. And this deal right now, that ends tomorrow, so you got to take advantage of it today. Windows as low as $19 per month and patio doors as low as $81 per month. Think about that. $19, $81. Those are small sacrifices for the incredible transformation that Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin will give to you. Winter is a lot more months going forward. So make the decision now to rejuvenate your home with Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Visit PellaWI.com.
More from you, KBN Nation, 800-990-3776. We have a Goody conversation. We have a wide receiver conversation. We have Jordan Love to talk about. We have Jason Wilde joining us. Don't go anywhere.
Whole lot of L's, Ben.
Kyle Brust and Nortman across ESPN Wisconsin with a Packer backer who is distraught.
This is Kyle Brust and Nortman.
Oh, wow.
North?
Spread Eagle is way north. Way north.
Man, stop. You're doing the thing where you don't know what you're doing.
No, it is, though.
We don't know where up north is.
On ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com. With Wilde and Tausch, you won't miss a play.
Romeo. This three-syllable, you have to take the O out of the equation. That's too easy.
Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
Iota, right? Not one iota.
Iota. Yeah, that's only 4 letters.
Weekdays from 9 to noon.
Let's pretend you're a first-time listener to Wilde and Tausch. What the hell is this? They're discussing syllables.
On 94.5 ESPN, the Wisconsin On Demand app, and at ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube.
Life's busy, and Quick Trip gets it. Whether you're grabbing fresh coffee, a bakery treat, or a quick meal, Quick Trip is your go-to for quality and fast service. From clean restrooms to fresh groceries, easy meal options, and guaranteed fuel, we make your day easier. Plus, enjoy perks like free ATMs, free air for your tires, and sweet rewards with the Quick Rewards program. Everything you need in one stop, and always a friendly, see you next time, Quick Trip, where your day gets easier and better.
Are you looking for reliable transportation this holiday season? I've got you covered. It's Jen Latta from ESPN Milwaukee, and with holiday parties, family gatherings, and year-end events on the horizon, I trust AccuTrans Group to handle all of my private transportation needs. Whether it's a corporate function or festive celebration, AccuTrans gets me there safely and on time. As a veteran-owned business, they pride themselves on top-notch service that you can count on. Booking is easy, stress-free, and reliable. Just visit AccuTransGroup.com to reserve your holiday ride today. That's AccuTransGroup.com.
Ready for a win? Well, it's your year. At Potawatomi Casino Hotel Milwaukee, you could win over $2,000 in free play every month all year long. Just play your favorite games and you might take the stage in the It's Your Year game show. 25 winners each Thursday. There's $300,000 in cash and prizes up for grabs this January. Yeah, we think it's your year. More info at paysbig.com. Must be 21 years old to play.
Hey, wouldn't it be great if life came with a remote control? You know, you could hit pause when you needed to, or hit rewind. Like that time you knocked down that wasp's nest.
Uh-oh.
Or that time you forgot to roll up your windows in the car wash.
Fantastic.
Yeah, a remote control would have come in handy then. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes like managing your weight, getting active, stopping smoking, and eating healthier, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. It's easy to learn your risk. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Life doesn't come with a remote control. Yikes! So you're on your own with the wasps. You have the power to take control of prediabetes. Visit doihaveprediabetes.org today. That's doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
Look out, world, we're getting strong. The future's here and we belong. She can STEM, she can do more. Like build a rocket and watch it soar. Or clean the oceans and make the world a better place. Oh, she can STEM, so can you. Find a cure, invent something new. There's no challenge in the world that she can't face. She can STEM.
Learn more at She Can STEM. A message brought to you by the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Darren College. Are you aware that veterans die by suicide every year at a rate 4 times higher than those who died in combat? If you or a veteran in your life is struggling with work, their health, or home life, reach out. Together, we can help. Go to reachout.org WIS.org. We're here for you.
This project is funded in part by the Advancing a Healthier Wisconsin Endowment. ReachOutWis.org.
This is Kyle Brust and Nortman, KBN, on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
It all keeps adding up. I think I'm cracking up. Am I just paranoid? Am I just...
Potawatomi Casino Hotel is a brand new sports book with a 2,000 square foot video wall. Unfortunately, it would have been a magnifying glass to all the issues that we watched yesterday for the Green Bay Packers, but you would have had a hell of a time with great food. If you're smart, you maybe would have gotten the Vikings on the spread and you would have won, but regardless, good food, good atmosphere. I said good food. Great food, good atmosphere, and a 2,000 square foot video wall. Build your bets at paysbig.com/sportsbook. Kyle, Brust and Nortman across ESPN Wisconsin. Everyone?
Ain't no huffing from me.
What's wrong?
What do you mean? I'm upset. I'm very upset about what happened yesterday. I've been trying to hold it in because the frustration is just like, what the heck is going on? Like, I don't know what to expect from this football team. I really don't. Like, I had all
What are you talking about? I thought we just got clarity.
No, we did get clarity, but maybe it's just the fact that I don't.
You don't like the clarity?
Yeah, you don't like what the clarity.
Yeah, he doesn't like the clarity.
I'm still here hoping and wishing that the Green Bay Packers.
I thought this house was bigger.
No, for real. I was hoping that the Green Bay Packers could find a way. So yesterday was so disappointing because it just basically proved to us that the Packers are not what we thought they could be. And that is extremely disappointing as a fan to know that your team is not going to go the place that you want them to go every single year. Last year is one thing, but this season where you actually have expectations, it hurts, man. There was very few times going into the playoffs with Aaron Rodgers where I felt like the Packers didn't have a little bit of a chance to make something happen. But right now, I feel like the Packers don't have a shot, and it's because of their play caller and their head coach, Matt LaFleur.
Well, it's Ben Brust, Kyle Wallace, Brad Nortman. Max Myerson's running the show. No Alex Strofe. He'll be back on Thursday. But, Brad, I want you to talk about Jaire because you were in a locker room and we are not. And when it comes to injuries, we all can talk about it, but you were next to guys who are dealing with it.
Yeah, guys, when it comes to Jaire, in order to win, the Packers need a player like Jaire, but they can't win with a guy with a personality like Jaire. That's the problem. He is the player that the guys need out there, right? We see how vulnerable the secondary is without Jaire. You got guys running free, wide open. Sam Darnold has a career day without a guy like Jaire Alexander in there. So you need the player of Jaire Alexander, but you can't have the person of Jaire Alexander. That is inconsistent. Someone who's not seemingly bought in. It seems like there's not a lot of understanding from Matt LaFleur.
Speaking of clarity.
As to where Jaire is mentally and physically. It felt like he was going to be back sooner. They did not put him on IR. Remember that. They had a chance to put him on IR.
How many games has this been?
This has been like
six or
games.
seven.
He came back in the Bears game and has not played since.
This has been much longer than anyone ever thought, and it's not even that. There is just a lack of question of, is he completely bought in? Is he a part of the Packers fold? And is he willing to do the things that it is required for him to go back on the field? So the problem is
6 games.
6 games.
Didn't put him on IR.
And not putting him on IR says everything I need to know about how significant they thought the injury was. So Matt LaFleur is left up there at the podium with no answers, and his defense is getting cooked because you invest all this into Jaire, who is very good when he does play. That's why the Packers, in order to win, you need a player like Jaire, but you can't win with the personality like Jaire, and that's a huge problem.
Brad, I mean, you know.
You're a Jaire guy.
I am a Jaire guy, but Brad's an NFL guy who's been in the NFL locker room and understands that who can be poisonous to a locker room, who can really uplift the locker room. From my perspective, I would like to think that Jaire he's hurt. He tried to come back. It didn't work out, and now he's playing it slow because he feels like maybe it's better for him to come back during the playoffs. Now, I don't know the internal conversations that are going on between Jaire and going on between Matt LaFleur inside that locker room, whether or not, Matt LaFleur doesn't have the clarity to know him he's ready to go or not. But what I do know is Jaire Alexander.
He's got the clarity. He was a full participant last week, and then he was a non-prep.
That's what makes no sense.
Listen, it's a PCL injury. It's not easy. It takes time to heal. It's not just you can have surgery on it and you'll be back. No, you got to wait for the body to heal. It usually can take between 4 to 8 weeks. So overall, I'm going to trust the fact that Jaire is being, cautious, and the Green Bay Packers are being cautious as well, and understanding that a guy like Jaire can make a huge difference in the game against the Vikings, and a guy like Jaire, you need him. Like, you need him if you play the Eagles in round one and you got to go against Devontae Smith and you got to go against A.J. Brown and you have Jalen Hurts who can run and scramble. You got to have somebody like Jaire Alexander out there. So I hope that Brad is wrong with the assertions that he's the type of guy that you want on the field, but her personality you don't want. I will hope that he has changed being around Xavier McKinney this year.
Changed. We're the season's about done.
But he can't help injury, right? Like last year, the issue
I know, but the
was
communication, the trail is so odd.
He lacks professionalism. And because of that, you just don't know. There's no consistency with him.
Do we know that there's been some miscommunication between him and Matt LaFleur, right? Like this year, I just felt like we haven't seen the same type of hoopla and the controversy around Jaire and whether or not he's going to play or not last year versus this season. He's practicing, but we knew every Friday or every Saturday Jaire wasn't going to play the following. He wasn't going to play that week.
Well, you think about it if you're Matt LaFleur, right?
Real quick, I
put him on IR.
Brad, as of 50 minutes ago, Matt LaFleur at the podium. Essentially, no comments on Jaire if he will return this season. And when you say season, when asked if there's a difference in opinion between Alexander and the team, LaFleur says he can't really get into all that. Says there have been swelling in the knee.
I just think actions say
that's per
more,
The Athletic.
And those are strong words from Matt LaFleur. But actions say more than words when it comes to this. The Packers didn't put him on IR. So the initial diagnosis was this injury is no big deal. That's a couple weeks and he'll be right back. More than that, Jaire is a full participant in practice. He is doing every single thing in practice. And then, out of the game. Think about if you're Matt LaFleur. How are you supposed to think about if you're Jeff Hafley? How are you supposed to put together a game plan when you are missing one of your biggest, most important weapons in order to slow down Justin Jefferson? And it's not going to change. They're on their way to go to Philly in a couple weeks. A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. You don't have one of your main defenders in there. There's no telling when he's going to come back. Hey, I'm participating all week. I'm not here. It's inconsistent. It lacks professionalism. He's not communicating.
The reason why I don't want to go down this path because I remember having conversations talking about David Bakhtiari, right? We talked about David, him not being reliable, and David Bakhtiari, his career is literally over, right? It's destroyed from his knee injury. So this is why I don't want to jump to any
the real turf monster got him.
No, yeah, for real. And so that's why I'm just saying with this Jaire Alexander, I understand the past that he has had, but I truly believe Jaire is not healthy because if he was healthy enough, we know one thing about Jaire is that boy is a gamer, right? He's a dog when he wants to be a dog. When it comes to big time games going against a Jordan Addison, going against a Justin Jefferson, he's raising his hand saying, I'm going to play through it. The fact that he tried to come back and play against the Chicago Bears earlier this year showed you that he was all bought in. That's why this year I understand your reputation sometimes allows for us to make judgment on you. But I would love to believe in this situation, Jaire actually wants to be able to come back.
I actually think he should go out for the coin toss next week.
That'll really make a statement.
Jim in Saukville, 800-990-3776. Again, phone lines are open for anybody who wants to get something off their chest. A lot of inquisitive callers today. Jim, you're up next.
Yeah, thank you, guys. I want to kind of sharpen things up, try to focus on a few things, but I got to get your agreement in that the premise or context is correct. The first one is it unfair for me to say now or to expect that when someone says the Packers are the youngest team, that I ask for a little bit more specificity in terms of position, etc., meaning where does it matter? And the second one is this. Is it fair to say that we all expected that the trajectory of this team would be steadily upward and that we were let down by the performance, and based on that, we were let down by the performance yesterday? Would you agree with those two statements?
Well, the first one was kind of a question. So to answer that, I think it does matter in specific spots of age. Obviously, you don't want like the youngest offensive line in the NFL. That's a recipe for disaster. Skill position, maybe it's a little bit better to have younger guys, but at the same time, all of this is based around the Packers winning a Super Bowl. It just is, right? And especially, it's all based around the fact that in the second part, last year, they led us to a playoffs in which they're the youngest team in the NFL, using that term again. And to Kyle's point earlier, the expectations are naturally going to be higher when you have a lot of those same guys back. Now, you obviously lost some older pieces and brought in younger pieces, clearly based off the average age of the roster. But part of me is like, it doesn't matter, average age or not. It's a results-driven business. And if this isn't getting results, then maybe it is the 3-year plan. But if you don't believe the pieces of the youth are the future and these first-round draft picks that they're drafting aren't hitting, then the youth movement doesn't matter as much.
Well, not only are they young in most areas of the ball, right? There's no old guys on the team, right? There's one 30-year-old guy that's the kicker they added late, right? That's McManus. Besides that, famously, nobody's over 30. And even after, I think Kenny Clark is maybe 28. After that, the next guy's like 26 and 27. So they are young. And here's the thing. If we are to believe that the Packers are going to win a Super Bowl, they're going to have to do it with a young roster because Goody has made it clear he believes in young football players. He thinks that rookie contract and maybe the second contract is the sweet spot for your best football. He doesn't believe in third contracts outside of exceptions, and he just believes that is a young man's game. So I think the Packers are going to consistently be younger than they are older. It's on Matt LaFleur to figure out how can I take these young ingredients and try to win a Super Bowl because I don't think they're going to get old anytime soon.
Jason Wilde's going to join us at 3:15. Channel all of these thoughts and questions that you have, and we'll get them over to Jason. Coming up next, we're going to hear from Jordan Love because he talked about his wide receivers. We've been playing the blame game. Jay Love played a little blame game. In 2 minutes next.
You're listening to Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, KBN.
It's the 414 hour at 4 on KBN.
Wow. Just wow.
Has he sound good? We've been practicing.
I did it all last week. I gotta say, I'm pretty proud of my progress.
On ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com. With Wilde and Tausch, you won't miss a play.
Romeo. This 3-syllable, you have to take the O out of the equation. That's too easy.
Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
Iota, right? Not one iota.
Iota. Yeah, that's only 4 letters.
Weekdays from 9 to noon.
Let's pretend you're a first-time listener to Wilde and Tausch. What the hell is this? They're discussing syllables.
On 94.5 ESPN, the Wisconsin On Demand app, and at ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube.
True Chicago-style pizza is thin, crispy, and cut into squares. And thanks to Connie's Frozen Pizza, you can enjoy a true slice of the city. You'll enjoy it so much you won't even mind where it comes from. Connie's Frozen Pizzas are made from the same cornmeal crust Connie's has been serving for over 60 years. They're perfectly cheesy, perfectly saucy, and they're exactly what you crave. Get to know the true Chicago style with Connie's Frozen Pizza. Born in Chicago, loved by cheeseheads. Available in a freezer aisle near you.
ESPN Wisconsin's Mark Tauscher for Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Well, how do you say welcome to your guests? Say it with a new entry door from Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Say it with color. The possibilities are endless thanks to Pella's custom colors. Say it with class. Pella's premium doors stand out due to their distinguished craftsmanship.
Say it with a great deal. Get 0% interest for up to 60 months with no money down and equal payments.
Hurry up, though. The offer ends at the end of August. Certain restrictions do apply. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Tito's Handmade Vodka is America's original craft vodka. In 1995, Tito Beveridge built his very own distillery and put his life savings into it. Since then, he's won the unanimous Judge's Choice double gold medal at the World Spirits Competition, the Chairman's Trophy for World's Best Vodka Tonic, and many others. Tito's Handmade Vodka is still made on the same land where he started it, all in Austin, Texas. Distilled from corn and gluten-free. Visit us at Tito'sVodka.com for recipes, videos, and more. Distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas. 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof. Crafted to be savored responsibly.
Marquette Hall of Famer Tony Smith here. You're listening to the home of Marquette basketball. 94.5 ESPN is WKTI and WKTI HD Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station. Broadcasting live from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All studio at the Avenue in downtown Milwaukee. This is Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, KBN on 94.5 ESPN. The Wisconsin On Demand app, and streaming live at ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube.
Does youth movement mean upward trajectory? We're going to find out by the play on the field. 800-990-3776 is the ESPN Wisconsin Talking text line. Kyle, Brust and Nortman with you till 5 o'clock. We're on YouTube at ESPN Milwaukee and at ESPN Madison. Petey Pablo chimes in, a youth movement led by a pouty coach. Pretty good.
Yeah.
Jordan Love, maybe he's starting to get pouty because Matt LaFleur's pouty. Jordan Love doesn't do this. This was Jordan Love postgame.
It's one of those things where, we all got to be better. I got to be better. When they're playing man coverage, it comes down to winning that one-on-one as a receiver. And as a quarterback, you got to have great ball placement and, make plays. But it's one-on-one coverage, so guys just got to go win. And we didn't do a good enough job of that. But it's on everybody. There's not one guy that it falls on. It's a whole team thing. So there's a lot of stuff we'll look back on film and have to clean up and figure out ways to be able to win versus that coverage.
Again, he didn't full-out assault the wide receiver room, but that's the closest thing we've seen to Jordan Love calling anybody out.
You're never going to get a full-scale Aaron Rodgers scathe session from Jordan Love. That's just a fact. But this is about as close.
Reed wasn't on the red line.
Yeah, this is about as close as you're ever going to get. This is Jordan Love's version of calling out wide receivers. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You can tell he was, in that audio, he was itching to get it off his chest because he said it not once, not twice, 3 times. We got to win the one-on-one battles as wide receivers. We got to go one-on-one. We didn't do that. We got to find a ways to win one-on-one versus this coverage. He is clearly looking at his receivers and saying, guys, if we're going to talk about how we're all wide receiver ones out there, well, wide receiver ones beat one-on-one coverage, right? One-on-one coverage, the receiver has the advantage against the quarterbacks. If that's all the Vikings were doing was blitzing and one-on-one coverage, a quality quarterback and quality wide receivers should be able to cook you. They did not do that. Jordan Love seems to think that, yes, he's shouldered some blame, but when you say something 3 times, repetition equals meaning. And he means to say this.
Did you make that up, or is that like a statement that isn't like, a philosopher?
That's just like
a Nortmanism?
Yeah. Actually, an interesting fact. Back in the day before like traditional grammar and traditional apostrophes and exclamation marks, that repetition used to mean meaning. So like old philosopher, biblical things, repetition means more emphasis and more meaning. So this is Jordan Love turning back
Philosopher
the clock,
Brad
turning back the clock. And when real estate, there's a lot of real estate on something, that means it's meaning. How many times does Jordan Love need to deliver this message? Consider that message to be delivered.
I mean, for me, and I think for a lot of us Green Bay Packers fans, yesterday should have been an aha moment. Yesterday should have been okay, we get it. We were all fooled. Like, we talked about it a lot of times. So the Green Bay Packers have a number 1 wide receiver. Who's the number 1 wide receiver? And yesterday we saw what a real number 1 wide receiver can do, right? It's not for the fact that Justin Jefferson had multiple catches yesterday. He didn't have a touchdown. Like, he got some yards later in that game. It's the impact that he had that allowed for other receivers to be open and have big days. Jalen Naylor went off yesterday, not because he's some stud. Exactly. Not because he's a stud wide receiver. It's because of the fact that they have Jordan Addison and they have a Justin Jefferson, which allows for a TJ Hockenson and a Naylor to open up and make plays. And that's what it comes down to. We have nobody on this roster at wide receiver that attracts the attention of other football teams, which allows for everybody else to get open. I understand Christian Watson is a deep threat that could maybe open up some stuff underneath for folks, but we don't have anybody where you're literally trying to bracket a guy, where you have a cornerback, a safety, and a linebacker all keying in on one person. It is 11-on-11 football. When you have 3 guys keying on one of those 11 guys, that allows for other guys on that football team on the offense to get open and make plays. You saw the impact of what a number 1 wide receiver can have, a true number 1 wide receiver. So yesterday was the moment that all of us should have figured out. The Green Bay Packers do not have a number 1 receiver on this roster, and if they did, they would be in a better position. But as of right now, a number 1 is a key for this team to be a champion because right now, they ain't got it. And having multiple guys like Jaden Reed go missing for multiple games, to have, Romeo Dobbs maybe or maybe not show up, like, it is too many options out there. We need to find a guy that can go out there and create for himself, but also open up things for everybody else.
And why it stands out even further to me look, everyone likes to point to the Patriots and what they did with wide receivers and how they never overspent, and as soon as it was they might have been at their peak, they were gone sometimes. So they bring somebody else in. The Packers aren't the Patriots. We know that by now. They don't have as many championships. Oh, look what the Chiefs do. They traded Tyreek Hill. The Packers aren't the Chiefs either. But what I see of the top teams in the NFC right now, I look at Philly. I see A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith, right? You look at the Lions. Amon-Ra is a number one. Jamison Williams, and then again, because of that and all the creativity they have, Tim Patrick goes off against the Green Bay Packers because you know why? There's a lot. They got they got a lot of attention drawn to him. And if you want to look even closer, yesterday, obviously Jordan Addison and Justin Jefferson.
A lot of J's.
Very clearly showed us what that can do as well.
Well, and I think you look at these young wide receivers and you could start to convince yourself, well, they just need time. They just got to develop, right?
The hell with that.
That's not true in the NFL. If you're a quarterback, yes, you need time to develop. But guys, there's plenty
We broke him. He's gotten emotional.
There's plenty of wide receivers around the league that, baby, year one, you know. I mean, I don't know how many young guys you have to look at. Brian Thomas Jr., Lad McConkey, Smith and Jigba, Malik Neighbors. There are plenty of other guys that you look around the league and say, they're rookies. And they are studs. They are bona fide, obvious wide receiver ones.
Not bona fide scrubs.
Not bona fide scrubs.
Bona fide studs.
So I don't know how long we think we need to wait for someone to take a step forward because they've been given plenty of time. Even a second-year guy, that is plenty of time because true wide receiver ones take that step in year one.
No, the Green Bay Packers, Goody knows what he needs to do. Goody knows exactly what he needs to do. He should have seen enough just like the rest of us have. We have some really good wide receivers, but we do not have a great wide receiver. I said it before. It has been disappointing to see Jaden Reed disappear the way that he has. If you are a high-quality wide receiver, you are a star wide receiver, you don't have the amount of one-catch games, three-target games that he's had. Now, again, maybe we're expecting him to be more than what he is. Maybe we need to be more creative to make sure he gets touches and gets the ball. But a guy like Jordan Addison or Justin Jefferson, they go to the side and they say, Coach, give me the damn ball. Hey, stop playing. I need the ball. And they find a way to impact the game because the guy across from him cannot stop him. And we don't have that.
And that's the thing. They say, I want the ball, and then they're open. They get open. That's the other thing is that these wide receivers, if they're saying they're wide receiver ones, then they need to act like wide receiver ones. Their play needs to reflect wide receiver ones. Because I watch Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison.
With the cornerback, with the safety, bracketed, zoned, double-teamed, and still find a way.
Find a way to get open. After their game planned to be like clamped down, you throw the ball to them. How are they so open? Because they're wide receiver ones. That's why. They're that good.
800-990-3776. It's for you. If you want to get it off your chest. I've had some good callers thus far. I'm very proud of that. I want to keep them going. Scheduled to appear? Confirmed to appear. Jason Wilde, but first, need Brad tell us how to stay nice and healthy.
Oh, that's right. This time of year, you're probably reflecting on, am I as healthy as I want to be? Post-holidays, am I feeling the effects on my body? Well, look no further than Quintessa Aesthetic Center. That's right, Quintessa Aesthetic Center. I go to the location in Brookfield, work with Jess. She's awesome. They have everything you're looking for when it comes to total wellness, feeling optimized, not just hitting that below standard. This is a new year. This is a time to reflect and say, how do I want to improve? It's not just hitting the gym, not just eating better. There are so many ways that Quintessa can help you feel energized, confident, and ready to take on everything that 2025 has for you. And this is a special deal that Quintessa is offering you now. Now, through March 31st, Quintessa is offering you a special New Year's package to help you kickstart your year the right way. Whether it's personalized wellness plans, skincare treatment, IV therapy, hormone therapy, whatever it is, Quintessa has all the solutions designed to make you look and feel your absolute best. It is the year to invest in yourself. That is what 2025 is. Quintessa will give you strategies to make it simple, effective, and personalized. Go to myquintessa.com, tell them that we sent you, and before long, you'll be feeling confident and revitalized with Quintessa.
Jason Wilde joins us next.
This is Kyle Brust and Nortman.
You agree with me?
Lola Bunny on your algorithm shaking her butt?
It's people on my Facebook sharing stuff, and I'm like, you know what? Lola the Bunny was kind of strapped.
Okay, here's as far as I'm... All I'll be able to say is I get why Bugs was so love drunk over Lola. I get it. That's
you.
As far as I can go to you.
Look at this. Look at this. Google Lola the Bunny.
On ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Travel times are looking good across the system. Only thing we've been keeping an eye on is some very minor delays on 4394 South due to a car fire at the exit to Holt Avenue. Looks like they're just finishing up with cleaning up that incident. Tonight, cloudy skies, a slight chance for rainy mix to the south, a low of 33. Tuesday, we do it all over again with cloudy skies and another slight chance for a rainy mix, a high of 40. From WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Jessica Gatso on 94.5 ESPN.
What happens when you mix a 3-time Wisconsin Sports Writer of the Year with a Packers Hall of Famer?
I'm not going to get into the Kringle turnover game, so that's what it needs to be. I think his legs. Yeah.
Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
Like the pastry
Are you guys being
turnovers.
serious? You guys can't put two.
I got it. I did not get it.
They don't call themselves Racine Danish turnovers.
Sorry. Sometimes I wonder about you two, man.
Catch him from 9 to noon right here on 94.5 ESPN, the Wisconsin On Demand app, and at ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube.
Ready for a win? Well, it's your year. At Potawatomi Casino Hotel Milwaukee, you could win over $2,000 in free play every month all year long. Just play your favorite games and you might take the stage in the It's Your Year game show. 25 winners each Thursday. There's $300,000 in cash and prizes up for grabs this January. Yeah, we think it's your year. More info at paysbig.com. Must be 21 years old to play.
Always still look at myself as a high-performing athlete, even at 40 years old. And so I want to go able to run and run fast and do things that I could 15 and 20 years ago. And it was getting to the point where the pain was starting to limit that.
Pain attacks people from all walks of life, not just former professional athletes like Bobby Carpenter. That's where QC Kinetics non-surgical treatment steps in.
And now that the pain is gone, I've been able to go and do the stuff that I love and run fast and run sprints and try to get back to where I was.
QC Kinetics regenerative treatments use your body's own healing properties to deliver long-term relief without surgery.
Now, being able to go and work out and do the stuff that I want to do and challenge my body, it's made me a better person, a more pleasant person to be around.
Don't wait. Call QC Kinetics for your free consultation today. QC Kinetics.
Call QC Kinetics, 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474.
Refresh your home today with window images, blinds, and shades from Menards. We have everything you need to update your window treatments. We carry vinyl, aluminum, and faux wood blinds, cellular shades, and more. Get a white 23 by 48 room darkening cordless vinyl blind for $12.99. Plus, get them trimmed to width for free in store. Good through December 31st. Plus, check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
America is kept safe because the Army National Guard responds, protects, and supports our nation when it needs them most. The Army National Guard responds to disasters such as wildfires and floods. They protect us with missile defense, cybersecurity, and civilian support teams for chemical, biological, and radiological hazards. Be there for your community and your country. Visit NationalGuard.com to learn more about part-time service. Sponsored by the Wisconsin Army National Guard. Aired by the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association and this station.
You're listening to Kyle Brust and Nortman, KBN, on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
I'm not leaving. The Wolf of Wall Street was on the other day when I was flipping through channel. Great family film.
3-time Wisconsin Sports Writer of the Year.
I'm a naturally inquisitive person.
Holding everybody accountable.
If you feel better about that, I'm happy to do so.
Jason Wilde is on Kyle Brust and Nortman.
You heard the big voice guy. Joining us now is Jason Wilde. Listen to Jason on Wilde and Tausch, 9 to noon across these very stations. Got the whole crew together except Alex Strofe. Jason, how are you?
Good. I'm just hoping that my reception holds out on Highway 29 on my way home from the Twin Cities.
We will hold on to dear life and let you know if anything happens. You're very much needed right now for Kyle. He's broken. The emotions have now come out. It's been suppressed to this point of now they've lost 5 games. The teams that are ranked or with higher records than them. So I want to know when you get to Kyle, please help him. But for me, Jason, I just want to know Matt LaFleur's catching a lot of heat right now, which I know old T said he was out-coached by Kevin O'Connell and whatnot. For Goody, you look at some of these teams that are ascending right now, you see the first-round draft picks that are making the impact. I know you can't change it, but is that the only blemish on Goody right now, is not being able to bring guys in the first round to make an immediate impact? The one guy that is doing it, Matt LaFleur's talking about, he doesn't know if he's going to play this season.
Yeah, I mean, look, he did pick Jordan Love in the first round, whether the timing was right or not. I mean, Jordan Love's still pretty good. Let's not lose sight of that. Obviously, they're not getting help from Jordan Morgan right away, but Sean Ryan, whom Goody drafted in the third round a few years ago and who had struggled and barely played his rookie year, is playing pretty well.
It's just the first-round guys everyone points to, and as everyone likes to say, those are the guys with the most potential, likely, of making a big impact for your team.
Yeah, Ron Wolf wasn't great in the first round either, and he's in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. So it doesn't matter where you draft them. You just got to make sure you have enough good players. And right now, in terms of their pass rush, which is where that I would point at their first-round picks being questionable, that's where their problems are, right? I think you could say that Eric Stokes, obviously, you don't want to keep him on the field if you don't have to. But Jaire Alexander's situation, which I know Rob Domofsky asked about, is part of it too. But the fact of the matter is that, the two guys that they drafted to rush the passer aren't getting the job done. Rashawn Gary is not good enough. He's inconsistent at best. They paid him like an elite pass rusher, and he's not rushing like an elite pass rusher. And, there have been glimpses this season where you thought, okay, he's finally finding his rhythm, and this is going to be kind of the launching point for him to be a dominant force the rest of the season, and that hasn't happened. Lucas Van Ness, they did the pick swap with the Jets as part of the Rodgers deal. And the Jets picked 15th, and they took Will McDonald from Iowa State, who I think is from the state of Wisconsin originally.
Sure is.
This isn't a T.J. Watt deal, but it's certainly that guy's been better than LVN has been. And if we're being really honest, yesterday they needed him because Brenton Cox left at one point after taking a low block. I don't think he came back. They played Aaron Mosby more. And those are the guys that, when you select them because you expect them to be impact players, especially when you're the 12th or the 13th overall pick. When you get down to Quay Walker at 22, Devontae Wyatt at 29, Eric Stokes was, I think, in the 20s. You would love for them to be top-flight players, but as long as they're consistent contributors, you feel okay. And you're right. His first-round track record is not very good. But they got a lot of problems right now. Chief among them, the pass rush on defense, and the fact that offensively they were not able to find someone that could get them consistent production in the pass game. Jordan Love was 10 of 18 for 64 yards through three quarters. And when the Vikings started to play soft coverage with a 27-10 lead, they got things going a little bit, but in the end, it wasn't enough, and they don't have that Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, because they got two guys that are like that, and then obviously their third receiver had a big day yesterday, but they don't have that clear-cut number one or 1A who is capable of taking the offense on his shoulders, and we spent so much time talking about how it's better to have this ensemble cast, but yesterday, without Christian Watson, I didn't see a very good ensemble cast.
Jason, you did a really good job answering a lot of questions that we've been discussing right now. I just want to know real quick, is this a theme that the Packers should be trying to follow? Because obviously, the Patriots are the Patriots, the Packers are the Patriots, the Chiefs are the Chiefs, the Packers are the Chiefs. Everyone's like, well, they traded Tyreek Hill and kept winning. Packers haven't proved to be able to do that. You look at the three teams that they've lost to, A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, Addison Jefferson, Jamison Williams, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Those are guys. So the Packers need to go get a guy in the first round and draft a true skill position guy that is not a quarterback?
No, I don't. Again, I don't think that's. Look. First of all, they've still got playoff. I mean, we're talking about these guys like they're 7 and 9. Like
we're talking about the production of the wide receivers right here.
Right, but it's not like there's been other times this season when we were talking about this receiver or that receiver being productive. Like this is the reality of this team, in my opinion. They are who I thought they were. Just to quote Denny Green, I thought that they were good, but not Super Bowl good. I thought they were a year away from contending for a title. I'm not saying that they can't reel off 3 straight wins, but what I said before the season was they could be a better team and not even make it as far in the playoffs. They're going to be the 7th seed unless Mike McCarthy bails them out. And that means they got to go to Philly in the first round. And I don't like their chances against Philly. I think Philly's really started to figure a lot of things out. They obviously saw them to start the season, but there's a distinct possibility that they will end up 3 wins better in the regular season and end up the same seed and then lose in the first round, unlike last year when they beat the Cowboys and had the 49ers on the ropes. But that's the reality of the NFL. They're not an elite-level team. And quite frankly, those of us that cover the team have probably pumped them up a little bit more than we should have. And I love Xavier McKinney, man. Yesterday, Tim Van Voren from Fox 6 said, do you believe you're in the same class as Detroit, Philadelphia, and Minnesota? And Xavier McKinney said what every one of us should be saying, which is, I want to say yeah, but I can't. We haven't beaten any of them. So I can't say that we are. There's no evidence to say that we are. And so, look, is this, I don't know if this is the time to say, they're not building their wide receiver group right. Well, I don't know. Christian Watson's played some damn good football the last couple of weeks. He gets this freak knee bruise, isn't able to go yesterday. Is it a different game if he plays? Potentially, because I think the Vikings play their defense differently. We see Romeo Doubs in flashes. I don't know what's gone on with Jaden Reed, because there was a time where we were talking about him being potentially a 100-catch guy. And now, you got LaFleur today talking about how you got to win your one-on-one matchups. He sounded like Mike McCarthy. And apparently they didn't win enough one-on-one matchups with their receivers yesterday. So there's a lot to be disappointed about, but let's not throw the baby out with the bathwater. They are still a good football team, not a great football team. And if they if they somehow get all these guys back, if Jaire plays again, which, again, who the hell knows, if Quay Walker is back and you're combining him with Edgerrin Cooper, because I thought Quay Walker was playing pretty well when he got hurt, you get Evan Williams back, who solidifies the jockeying in the secondary. I mean, and you get Christian Watson back, that's a pretty good group. And I would say that they can beat some of the teams in the playoffs. Can they go and beat, in succession, Philly, the number 2 seed, whichever NFC North team is the number 1 seed and has the bye? Can they beat them then the subsequent week, and then the third week beat whoever's left from the other side of the bracket? Because if they're the 7th seed, they're going to have to play the 2, and then they're going to play the 1. And then they're going to play whoever's left if they still win. I don't think they're good enough to do that 3 games in a row. And if they prove me wrong, I'll be happy for people like Kyle who live and die with their success and failure.
Jason, I want you to listen to this clip from Jordan Love post-game yesterday. You might have heard it in real time, but for those who haven't heard it, Maxie?
It's one of those things where, we all got to be better. I got to be better. When they're playing man coverage, it comes down to winning that one-on-one as a receiver. And, as a quarterback, you got to have great ball placement and, make plays. But it's one-on-one coverage, so guys just got to go win. And we didn't do a good enough job of that. But it's on everybody. There's not one guy that it falls on. It's a whole team thing. So there's a lot of stuff we'll look back on film and have to clean up and figure out ways to be able to win versus that coverage.
Now, Jordan Love is not Aaron Rodgers, who would just basically throw word daggers and throw his wide receivers under the bus. However, To me, this is
He
Jordan
kinda
Love
did.
calling out his wide receivers. Do you read it the same way?
Yeah, I think that's fair. And look, and what I would push back on Jordan with, and I was in the locker room when he was talking, or maybe I was walking to the bus with Josh Myers at that point, but I did not hear that live. I did listen to it and read the transcript afterward. And what I would say is, he does say ball placement there, and I thought there were two throws that the guy won on his one-on-one, not by a large margin, but on the 4th and 2 that he throws incomplete. I thought Jaden Reed won on that route, right? And it's not. Is it a difficult catch that goes off of Reed's hands? It is. So should he have caught it? Probably. But the ball placement wasn't great there. He could have hit him much more in stride and with a better ball there. And then there was a throw downfield. I think it was on an out route to Wicks. And Wicks has to make a diving stab at it at the sideline. Again, kind of the same as the Jaden Reed ball, where he gets his hands on it, but better ball placement maybe leads to a completion. And, I didn't think Jordan was that good yesterday. And I think what we've done with him, we got carried away with what he did late last season. I think he was putting up some really good numbers. But when Matt LaFleur said he was playing his best ball, not even Jordan Love would say that. He said, I think I'm playing decent. And I think he's had some struggles. And he also took 3 sacks yesterday, so some of that is on the offensive line. But
he was under duress half the game.
Right. But again, he had been under very little duress for much of the year, right? Like, he's one of the least sacked quarterbacks in the league. I thought he was better at eluding things in the pocket than he was yesterday. But again, that's a really good defense. And this is, to me, this is the problem with kind of the disparity in the NFL right now, or especially the NFC. All these wins against all these other teams, that they got 11 wins. There's 2 of those teams going to the playoffs. There's the Houston Texans, who lost 31-2 at home the other night. And there's the Los Angeles Rams, who didn't have Puka Nacua, Tyler Higbee, or Cooper Kupp for their matchup with the Packers. So those are their 2 wins over playoff teams. The only other team with a winning record that they've beaten is Seattle, which lost their starting quarterback during the course of that game on Sunday Night Football. And maybe they've looked better than they actually are because of who they faced and the fact that they've been able to be productive against lesser teams. Because yesterday they played a really good defense that flummoxed them with man coverage that they weren't expecting, and with that scheme to generate pressure that Brian Flores is so good at. And to win titles, you have to beat good teams. You have to beat the bad teams to keep building up your record, and you have to beat the mediocre teams to keep building up your record. But the measure of how good your team is what you're able to do against the really good teams. And yesterday, for the second time, they dug a big hole against the Vikings. The Vikings were able to pin their ears. Knew Jordan Love was going to.
Lost Jason Wilde on Highway 29, was it? Was it Highway 29?
29, I don't know.
Yeah.
Minneapolis on his way home.
Yeah. Maxie, any update on Jason? It looks like he's still alive. Just drop him and call him back if you can, because I know I definitely want Kyle to.
I mean, it is what it is. I was just going to ask him about what everybody's mad about. Is he never really addressed Matt LaFleur? In a sense of Matt LaFleur, it just seems like these moments, Matt feels the moment, right? Like, he knows this is a big moment. He knows this is a big game, and it just seems Matt LaFleur seems rattled. And I was curious if he had a take on that, because he's been around Matt LaFleur and this organization for a long time, and fans see it, Brad sees it, you see it, Ben, I see it, and I'm just curious what his take was.
Well, we'll effort for Jason Wilde, but Jason knows that if we're going to effort for him, we'll talk about somebody that he loves, and that's Gina.
Oh, Gina Della and Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Your go-to solution to fortify your home as these winter months come your way. That's right. You have old, drafty windows and doors. You're probably either looking at them or thinking about them as I'm talking right now. That's your indication.
I'm going to cut you off. We'll get back to Gina. Don't worry.
Sure will.
We're going to give Gina lots of love. But before Jason, we let you go, I want Kyle to talk to you about something that's on his mind.
Yeah, Jason, I'm glad we got you back here. But is it me, or do you think that Matt LaFleur seems just to get a little bit rattled in these big big games, or he loses his composure, or he just understands and feels the moment? Because it just seems sometimes Matt LaFleur just loses himself in some of these bigger games.
Yeah, I think you and Tausch should talk, because I think Tausch feels the same way. Obviously he was frustrated with some officiating issues. Didn't love that he got after a guy that's been a good friend of mine for 30 years and is a UW alum. But look, he has definitely been fierier than he was in his first few years as a head coach. And Kevin O'Connell is not like that. There was a pretty big difference, I thought, watching sideline behavior between those two. So is it big games, or is it just that's how he's become more reactionary? I don't know. I'm going to withhold judgment on that. I would like to talk to him about it privately, one-on-one, as opposed to in a press conference, because I don't think it'll do me a whole lot of good trying to ask those questions, say, on Wednesday. So I'm gonna make a request and see if I can get him for a few minutes on that, because I think it would behoove him to address it as well, because I think there's a lot of people that feel the way you do.
Jason, we appreciate you getting back with us. Drive safely, and we will talk to you. Well, I won't, but somebody will on Thursday.
Happy New Year! Oh, you're not here Thursday?
Oh, I am. I'll talk to you on Thursday.
Happy New Year, Jason. We'll see you.
Guys, I appreciate you. Take care. Be good.
That's Jason Wilde. Listen to Jason 9 to noon on Wilde and Tausch, where they talk about the one, the only, Gina Dell from Pella. Brad will tell you about what the offer is, but real quick, Gina and Joe came to my house, and I have an installation date.
Ooh, that's exciting.
Hit the sounder, Maxie. It's an installation date. Early February, new windows and doors are coming into the Brust household, and there's no one better to do it than to take advantage of this in the next 2 days.
Oh, the Brust household will be an absolute transformative home after Pella gets done with it, and yours can be too. And the deal right now, it's just so good, it's too juicy to pass up. You got to call today because it ends tomorrow. But $19 per window per month and $81 per patio door per month. Those are rounding errors when it comes to your family's budget, when it comes to each month, in exchange for a beautiful and transformative Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. So don't wait. Act now. Winter is on its way. No better solution than Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Visit PellaWI.com today.
That's PellaWI.com. Brett, you've been holding a long time, so we award your loyalty at 800-990-3776 next.
You're listening to Kyle Brust and Nortman.
That is completely unacceptable. It is unacceptable for a team to
Unacceptable.
Unacceptable. Is acceptable? Unacceptable?
Unacceptable.
Unaccessible. Wait.
What?
Wait. My mind is
unacceptable.
Unacceptable.
Unacceptable. What did I say?
Unacceptable.
My mouth and brain
Unacceptable.
are like not working
Unacceptable.
right
What did I say?
On ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
It looks like we're finally in the clear after a car fire on 4394 south of the exit to Holt Avenue that has been cleared up, and travel times are normal across the interstate. Tonight, cloudy skies, a slight chance for a rainy mix to the south, a low of 33. Tuesday, cloudy skies again, another slight chance for a rainy mix, a high of 40. Weather is brought to you by National Liquor Mart at 16th and National in Milwaukee. Packed with the best beer, liquor, seltzer, and spirit deals in town. Open 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. daily, where your satisfaction is their plan of action. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Jessica Gatso on 94.5 ESPN.
Confidence and strength begin with how you feel. At Quintessa Aesthetic Center, it is not about just looking good. It's about results that last and empower you. With 5 convenient locations in Delafield, Mequon, Brookfield, Middleton, and Sheboygan, their team of world-class plastic surgeons, skilled clinicians, and expert estheticians are here to help you take control. Whether it's advanced skincare, anti-aging treatments, body contouring, or muscle strengthening, Quintessa has everything you need to sharpen your image and boost your confidence. Take the first step towards a stronger, more confident you. Visit myquintessa.com today.
Wisconsin Indoor Golf Center is hosting their first ever tournament with $750 in cash prizes available. Hey ESPN Milwaukee, this is Gary Ellerson, and Wisconsin Indoor Golf Center invites you to play in a 2-man scramble at Whistling Straits, all from their comfortable golf simulators. Grab a friend and sign up today at WisconsinIndoorGolfCenter.com. The tournament costs $120 per pairing and is happening now through December 31st. Your winter chance to play Whistling Straits awaits. WisconsinIndoorGolfCenter.com.
Ho, ho, ho!
Oh, my back.
Santa?
Ho, ho, ho! Gina Della from Pella. You've been a good girl this year.
Is that why you're in here building new windows?
Yes. Next year, how about just asking for a Pella gift card? My elves are used to designing windows from other places where they're all pretty much the same. But Pella? Ho, ho, ho! So many customizations and designs. My elves aren't qualified, so Santa has to put in some overtime. Ho,
Let me make a call. BRB.
Frighteningly fast pellet team at your service. Let us take it from here, Mr. Claus. And Gina, next time.
Yeah, I know. Santa already lectured me. Ask for a Pella gift card.
What if you need new windows or doors, but you're on the naughty list?
Right now at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, get as low as $19 per window and $81 per patio door per month.
Ho, ho, ho! Visit the Pella site. And to all, a good night.
PellaWI.com. Certain restrictions apply. Ends 12/31/2024.
Tito's Handmade Vodka is America's original craft vodka. In 1995, Tito Beveridge built his very own distillery and put his life savings into it. Since then, he's won the unanimous Judge's Choice Double Gold Medal at the World Spirits Competition, the Chairman's Trophy for World's Best Vodka Tonic, and many others. Tito's Handmade Vodka is still made on the same land where he started it, all in Austin, Texas. Distilled from corn and gluten-free. Visit us at titosvodka.com for recipes, videos, and more. Distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas. 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof. Crafted to be savored responsibly.
Hi, Drew and Jonathan Scott here, reminding you that a lot of life's firsts are better with help from American Family Insurance. Like your first home expansion or your first big lightning strike. There's a first for everything. Get the right home policy at the right price with the right help from American Family's agents. Life's better when you're under American Family's roof. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company SI and its operating company 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
This is Kyle Brust and Nortman, KBN, on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Last night I let the party get the best of me.
Kyle Brust and Nortman across ESPN Wisconsin, 800-990-3776, taking all of your thoughts, feelings, reactions to the misleading 27-25 loss to the Minnesota Vikings by the score, that is. Brett and Middleton, you've been on hold. We'll get to you next, 800-990-3776. You're up with Kyle Brust and Nortman all together.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing all right.
Yeah.
I know. You know, Kyle, I'm sorry you're feeling so down. I'd like to address a couple things real quick, if possible. The whole Matt LaFleur thing, I think when he was a calm, collective coach, he's a hell of a coach. I just think that when he gets worked up like that, he gets worked up and kind of looks like a toddler that doesn't have enough boats in the bathtub. I don't know. It's just not a good look. But I would like to say this: all my Packer fan friends, when you guys lost Aaron Rodgers, I was the one to calm them down and let them know the reason why this was the best thing that ever could happen. And I think they lost sight of this, but what made them so great was, and I mention this because you talk about not having that number one superstar. I think what makes them great is because they don't have that diva superstar. I think a lot of the times Rodgers shot the team in the foot in the playoffs with the early exit.
Quick question for you, Brett, because I like what you're bringing. They haven't been great, though. You know, like it's not great right now.
Right, and this is where I need your opinion. That I was getting to it. But my point is that there's something happened, I believe, when Dobbs took a couple days off without everyone knowing, had the wellness check and all that stuff. He obviously wanted to be more involved. I truly believe watching that team, even though I'm not, let me finish, I'm not a Packer fan, but I respect them. I know they're great. I think something happened then where it's trying to please everybody on the team and give them what they want, but it's become one-dimensional because lately Jacobs has been putting the team on their shoulders and carrying them. That guy's a beast. He's always been a beast. Unfortunately, he was stuck on the Raiders for so long, so I don't think a lot of people seen how great he was. And
Brett, I got your point. Just from a time's sake, I got to let you go here. I'm not going to speculate that is the reason why things have gone a little bit different. I would just go with more of the results, and the results are it's not good, right? Like it's to me, it's.
Listen, my frustration is this. Is that I see enough creativity from a lot of different offenses. We talked about Puka getting the football, right? What they do to get him the football. But
everything and anything.
But we see teams do that. And so for me, how is it in one game we see Jaden Reed get the ball out the backfield too many dang times where we're saying at a point like, hey, let's stop with the jet sweep, till we don't use him at all. I think this happened against the Lions as well. That's what I'm thinking. Like, these games get so big, and all of a sudden the creativity, some of the things that he sticks to, he all of a sudden worries because, oh, we're down 3, or we stalled out here, we got to do this, instead of just sticking to him. So why don't you just do a quick bubble screen to Jaden Reed? You did one to Bo Melton. Why aren't we giving the ball to Jaden Reed? I like Bo, but Bo ain't no Jaden Reed. So the creativity needs to be for the playmakers on our football team, and in some of these big games, it just seems like it goes out his mind and he panics.
Well, it seems like when you have a wide receiver one, a primary playmaker, it creates clarity with the game plan, right? You can either devise a game plan to get him open, or the whole coverage is going to shift to trying to stop him, and everybody else opens up. It seems like Matt LaFleur has this whiteboard in front of him. Thinking,
it's almost too big.
Yeah, like, what am I going to do this week? Who am I going to feature? What's the matchup I like? In what ways are we going to get them the ball? And it creates a lack of consistency to where any given week, who's going to be the receiver? Who's going to be the pass catcher? Who's going to get the ball in the backfield? Nobody knows.
Who's going to be the end-around guy
and it creates a lack of rhythm.
What made me so mad at the end of the game, he ran a great play to Emmanuel Wilson, where Emmanuel Wilson flared out and he threw in the ball and he was able to get upfield. Where the hell was that in the first quarter, right? You have Josh Jacobs, that running back, who has shown you that he can catch the ball out the backfield. I didn't see any check downs to him. I didn't see any flare outs to him. Like, why aren't we being more creative to make sure we get some guys into space? Maybe to attack the perimeter and then all of a sudden open up the middle a little bit more for Josh Jacobs to run the football, but you got to do something. He just found no way to be consistent with play calling to open up something. What did he do to set up the next play? Like, for real, I didn't see anything in that game where he said run, and then set up some play down there.
And that's the thing is the first quarter and the first drive has been the Jacobs drive the last 3 weeks. Now, unfortunately, this Jacobs drive ended in a fumble, but you don't need to go away for a drive two.
Literally running the football. You were doing fine, but you went away from it.
Didn't touch it, as you said earlier in the second series.
Because Matt LaFleur said, well, we fumbled here. Well, let me No, you were able to move the chains and move the football. Give the ball to the freaking dude that are paying $12 million a year to run the ball. That's what I'm just so confused about.
Chris in Rome, 800-990-3776. You're up.
What I'm confused about is how Saquon Barkley won't win the NFL MVP, breaking a 40-year long-standing record. Like, I understand it's a pass-happy league, but dude, like, you devalued the running back position.
He got an extra week. It's not fair. He got an extra game. If Eric Dixon had another game, the record would be higher. Am I lying?
Well, you're not wrong, but I mean, I can't go back and add a week.
Yeah, see, I'm with Kyle here. I think all these records are getting ridiculous. You have guys who have had a 6-year college career, and I'm like, what the hell? He's a 1,000-point scorer in 2 different schools? Yeah, he had 3 in each of them. 800-990-3776. Selfishly.
Do you see something? Have you saw something that made you mad?
No, actually, this is a good thing for me. I think it's ridiculous. I guess from the 3-point record I had, one guy had 5 years that is past me. But
is that Brad Davidson? Did he pass you?
But there's a big but here. As a 1,148-point scorer, of course I know it on the dot.
Oh, wow.
At the University of Wisconsin, transfer portal is going to be great for 1,000-point scorers if they keep it to only people who played in the white and red. Like, you know what I'm saying?
It's a nice little little protection.
I'll stay in the legacy a little bit longer. Higher up on the list, as maybe they get to 800, they're like, oh, he's too good, he's got to go. Oh. Not reaching the 1,000-point club.
And Wisconsin ain't paying them to know that much.
That's true.
The only people they paying are people from Grambling State and from Kennesaw State and UW Whitewater.
Kyle's down bad. We'll be back.
You're listening to Kyle, Brust and Nortman, KBN.
But what I've heard is very nutritious.
I was actually about to ask. This is the last conversation on it. Did you taste it? Come on, did you taste it?
You got to. You got to make sure that it's good and good for your baby.
Yeah.
I know Jonathan Brust has. I have not yet.
Okay.
I definitely am.
You might as well take a little shot.
On ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com. The best source for every piece of NFL news you need to know.
That's the idea of a deal. Each side gets wins, right? They have Jordan Love under contract for the next 5 years.
ESPN NFL insider Adam Schefter is on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy every Wednesday morning at 7:30. Sponsored by Island Resort and Casino.
I think Packers fans would sign up for 12-5 today, and maybe they will be.
Right here on 94.5 ESPN and also streaming live on the Wisconsin On Demand app and at ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube.
It's time for the Ortho ASAP Minute from Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin.
Dr. Chris Killian is joining me. Doctor, for people who do need some type of shoulder procedure, what's the benefit to having it done at OAW?
There's a vast array of shoulder issues that different patients can have depending on what your age is, what your activity level is. So there are things such as unstable shoulders where the shoulder is dislocating, and there's a variety of treatments for that. Very, very common issue as people age are rotator cuff issues or arthritis. So we have pretty set and standard treatments that there is a difference when you come to us, especially, we do all arthroscopic rotator cuff repair surgeries, really advanced shoulder replacement surgeries where we use a navigation system when we perform the shoulder replacement that allows us to more accurately place the components that should hopefully then make them last longer. So we do have some very advanced options that are very unique to our group and allow us to kind of set ourselves apart compared to other people.
The Ortho ASAP Minute is sponsored by Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. There is a difference.
Skilled trade workers are the backbone of every community and also the Army National Guard. Soldiers trained to keep the power flowing, engines running, and in every other trade needed to accomplish the mission. These soldiers are on the fast track to learning skills that can set them up for success at home with companies looking to hire the best. Their resumes are being built through their paid training and part-time service. Find out how you too can learn a trade profession by visiting NationalGuard.com. Sponsored by the Wisconsin Army National Guard. Aired by the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association and this station.
Life's busy, and Quick Trip gets it. Whether you're grabbing fresh coffee, a bakery treat, or a quick meal, Quick Trip is your go-to for quality and fast service. From clean restrooms to fresh groceries, easy meal options, and guaranteed fuel, we make your day easier. Plus, enjoy perks like free ATMs, free air for your tires, and sweet rewards with the Quick Rewards program. Everything you need in one stop, and always a friendly, see you next time, Quick Trip, where your day gets easier and better.
Don't you wish your life came with a warning app?
Stop. That dog does not want to be petted.
Just a little heads up before something bad happens.
Move your coffee cup away from your computer.
Oh, no.
So you can have more control.
Stop. You're texting your boss by mistake.
Uh-oh. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes like managing your weight, getting active, stopping smoking, and eating healthier, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. It's easy to learn your risk. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Warning, the cap is loose on that ketchup.
Ugh. Don't wait. You have the power to change the outcome. Visit doihaveprediabetes.org today. That's doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
You know that feeling? Like every door is closing and you just can't see a way out? Being unemployed, underemployed, or just out of school can feel like that. But when you find the right tools, suddenly everything just clicks. FindSomethingNew.org offers resources that help develop new skills that can position you for careers in today's growing industries, from healthcare and manufacturing to cybersecurity and alternative energy. Find your path to a new career at FindSomethingNew.org. A message from the Ad Council.
This is Kyle Brust and Nortman on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
And this what she tells me. She said, I keep on running.
All right, we're going to play an exercise.
Oh, I like exercise.
After the Packers lost yesterday, the first person that comes to mind that you're frustrated with is who?
I'm Matt LaFleur. I'm mad at Matt LaFleur right now.
The first person that came to mind was Matty Mouse.
It was Matt LaFleur for me, too.
And Jeff Hafley, the defense didn't get a pass rush whatsoever. I mean,
but it's not a surprise. Like
that's the thing. We've talked about this.
So it's like I can't expect something that hasn't occurred.
Yeah, insanity,
but like Matt LaFleur and Jordan Love, they've shown that they can cook, they can keep up with it, but they just unraveled.
It was supposed to be the get back game. It really was.
This was the game that Kyle Wallace needed. You needed this one.
Yeah.
I'll say it for you. You needed this as the Packer backer to be like, hey, going into the playoffs, if we're going to go on the road, which we know we are, let's start now and show what we're made of. Find a way to win. Build some confidence. Say, bring it on, Philly. We took you down to the wire early in the season. I know you've gotten a lot better, but we still have a lot of talent. We can get a little bit healthier, and boom, we're ready to play. But right now, it's like it's a searching for answers week. You don't want to be searching for answers into week 18, heading into Philly, and then likely Detroit if you somehow, in this world of football on any given Sunday, beat a team that you haven't been able to beat, which is a team that's better than you.
Well, it seemed like the Packers in big games, they're shell-shocked. They don't come out fast. They don't come out prepared. It's the exact opposite of what you need to do. Gives me no reason to have faith in them come the big games of the NFL playoffs.
And that falls on the leader of the football team, the head coach,
Sure
Matt
does.
LaFleur. If you look shell-shocked on the sideline, complaining about people doing the wave, mad and yelling at a referee because they missed a call, your team is going to be disjointed as well.
I want to go back to the line that the caller had. But Jim, Matt, and Molly are next in Madison. Damn Sports Show in Beaver Dam. We're with you until 5 o'clock, leading into the Homer Hour. Don't go anywhere. It's Kyle, Brust, and Nortman. We're back in 2 minutes. 2 short minutes. Don't go anywhere.
You're gonna go to the record store. You're gonna give them all your money. Radio plays.
The roads are very quiet. No incidents and no delays ahead of rush hour at the moment. Traffic is brought to you by Fisco Auto Body. Call Fisco Auto Body to help with all body repair needs. Fisco, Fisco, Fisco. Tonight, cloudy skies, a slight chance for a rainy mix to the south, a low of 33. Tuesday, clouds again, and another slight chance for a rainy mix, a high of 40. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Jessica Gatso on 94.5 ESPN.
Join the roar of 18,000 Bucks fans at Fiserv Forum and be a part of the slam dunks, game-changing plays, and electrifying victories live. Witness the edge-of-your-seat action and unforgettable moments as they happen. You don't want to miss this. Grab your calendar, handpick your favorite matchups, and secure your seats for Dame time in Milwaukee and every incredible moment that comes next at bucks.com/tickets. That's bucks.com/tickets.
Dr. Aaron Holtebeck and his team at Holtebeck Eye Center make vision care a top priority with the latest technologies at their state-of-the-art Brookfield office. Dr. Holtebeck has been helping local patients with their eye care needs for over 20 years. And now, Holtebeck Eye Center is excited to add Dr. Nausheen Abbas to their team. Dr. Abbas is an ophthalmologist and cornea specialist that is now available to see patients. Located in Brookfield near the corner of Calhoun and Capitol, learn more about their services at holtebeck.com.
Gabe Neitzel here. Catch Jen, Gabe, and Chewy mornings 7 to 9 on 94.5 ESPN, WKTI, and WKTI HD, Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station. Broadcasting live from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All studio at the Avenue in downtown Milwaukee. This is Kyle, Brust and Nortman, KBN on 94.5 ESPN, the Wisconsin On Demand app, and streaming live at ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube.
We them boys. Holla, we them boys. Holla, holla, holla. We making noise. Holla.
It's the 4-1-4 hour and 4. The last one of 2024, right here on KBN.
You gonna make love to that microphone?
Oh, wow.
I mean, when you
see how he was holding it, caressing it?
Caressing.
You got
Who comes
to see,
to mind?
You see, obviously, y'all ain't performers like me, right? Like, I've seen all the great performers like a Michael Jackson.
You're a wannabe.
Like a Whitney Houston.
Like I said, you're a wannabe.
They make love to the mic. They grab that mic because that mic is there. Y'all seen Usher? You got to grab it like this. The 4-1-4 hour at 4.
A lot of happy people on YouTube at ESPN Milwaukee watching Kyle make love to a microphone. My name's Ben Brust.
Make you jealous. That's what it is.
Brad Nortman's here with us, and Max Meyerson's running the show. I mentioned blame game again, and immediately Jeff in the 920. Goody, then Mouse. GM screwed up the draft for years.
Goody, then Mouse.
Look what you did.
Dude, I mean,
look what you did.
What a brand.
But you've been calling him Stuart Little all year.
Maddie
Stuart Little.
Stuart Little. It's actually better than Matty Mouse. Just calling him Stuart Little outright. Stuart Little, the coach of the Green Bay Packers, lost his cool on the sideline yesterday. Mark Tauscher called him out on the Green Bay Game Day or Green Bay Game Night show. And I want to hear from Old T, because he said, cut 3, Maxie, that Matt LaFleur had his lunch eaten up by Mr. Kevin O'Connell. Give me a thumbs up when you are ready to go. Hit it.
I thought Kevin O'Connell ate LaFleur's lunch today. LaFleur has got to, I love his passion. He's got to get himself under. I feel like he lets his emotions get the better of him too many times. He is just over there and just, you see and feel. Players want to see calmness. You want to see a coach go crazy from time to time. You can't be every third down that doesn't happen or every penalty. It can't be every time something bad happens, there's a blank storm.
I'm not going to lie. I was like, as Tausch was talking about that, let's play another game. Who's a coach you think of when there's a penalty on their team and they react in a way that you like respect? There was one that happened. It was an egregious penalty against the Los Angeles Chargers, and Jim Harbaugh he just had this face. He was just like, part of the game. You know, that gave me confidence that old Jimmy's team is going to be like, all right, let's bounce back. But again, we all feed off of each other's emotions, right? We're all fired up right now because it's our job to be fired up about this stuff. It's not his job to get his team fired up about things that they shouldn't be focusing on, because when you're focusing on penalties, then the excuse becomes the penalties. And then what happens when you get a penalty? The players start doing what? Oh, they got me. Instead of just like playing. Play. Our old caller in the earlier the show goes, he acts like a kid who doesn't have enough boats in his bath.
That was such a great analogy.
And it hit me because I have a 1-year-old daughter that when the certain toy isn't in the bath, we have to go get that toy. And I was like, that's Matt LaFleur. That's Stuart Little. That's Matty Mouse.
Well, KBN Nation has heard me say a bunch. A head coach is responsible for 2 things, culture and scheme. And the problem is when you react like that on the sideline, it's a ding to culture, right? It trickles down to your players. How are your players supposed to keep their cool? How are they supposed to remain steady if you're the one that's acting like that on the sideline? Now, it's okay to do every once in a while. If you pick and choose your moments to have emotion and react, that's great.
He's got our back.
It's an emotional game. You got to do that. But it happens too often in petty moments, right? 12 guys on the field. Oh, a flag. Oh, everything was reactive with Matt LaFleur, and it seemed like it was nonstop. And not only that, so that's where it dings the culture.
Did Rodgers do this to him?
Seriously, he's rubbing off on him. But I also wonder about scheme, guys. So culture takes a ding when Matt LaFleur acts like that on the sideline. But scheme, I've said before, and I'll sing to it, he's one of the best offensive masterminds in the NFL. But where is the adjustments, right? Where are the in-game adjustments from Matt LaFleur to get this offense going earlier? Where's the scripted 15 first plays knowing that Brian Flores is going to blitz you? Exactly, Kyle.
Josh Jacobs fumble, and he said, hell with that.
The script is done.
Reactions
goes
done.
Reactionary. That's reactionary.
I know a lot about reactionary.
It affects everything. You sure do.
You are Mr. Reactionary.
No, and so I understand Matt LaFleur, but here's the thing is that we're sitting here talking about whether it's scheme.
You ripped that paper so perfectly. The rips were perfectly right in the microphone for everyone to hear the effects of what happened in Matt LaFleur's game script.
That's exactly what happened. And then, Brad, I know you talked about, penalties. He was mad about penalties. I am upset about the penalties as well. I think that falls on Matt LaFleur too, because not playing disciplined football hurts your football team. In a lot of our losses this year, you see touchdowns negated by penalties. You see first downs negated by penalties. You have to play a cleaner brand of football in order to be a championship football team. And so again, if you are playing disciplined football, if your head coach is panicking, if your quarterback doesn't have time to throw the ball, if you allow a defense that you know at a certain point is going to crack, if you're not going to put points and let them play from the front at all against these really good football teams, this is going to be the end result. How many times in these games have they allowed for this defense against really good teams to play from the front? The defense just either been trying to hold on or been trying to stop the bleeding at some point. Let's give this defense a lead against a really good football team and then see what they're going to do. But too early, too often, the offense is stagnant, not moving, and the defense can only hold out for so long until all of a sudden they get popped.
And I think specifically in these bigger games.
In all the bigger games, I want to say even early on against the Eagles, the defense was able to get you situations since week 1. And Jordan Love didn't practice.
That's right. Didn't they didn't score on the early turnover?
Two of them.
Yeah.
They got 2 turnovers in the Green Bay Packers. Didn't score touchdowns on that, right? And so, unfortunately, the Packers weren't able to win that football game against the Lions and the Vikings the first time and the second time. You get down early. You're not scoring points early enough to get this defense a chance. Your defense is mid. It is mid. And when you have a mid defense, it falls on the shoulders of the offense, the quarterback and the play caller and the offensive coordinator and head coach and Matt LaFleur to put your team in a good position. And putting your team in a good position is scoring points early.
If you could say something to Matt LaFleur, 800-990-3776, what would you say to him?
I would say to Matt LaFleur, rise to the occasion. I mean, the thing is, I'm not saying he's a bad coach.
Rising to the occasion.
Yeah, but he rises to the occasion because when the big moments come, he doesn't seem prepared for them. You know, like when you play a lesser opponent, even an equal opponent, it seems like the team is prepared. They're fluid. They're in rhythm. They're high octane. They're rolling, baby. He's confident and he looks good on the sideline. But in these big moments, he seems off kilter. It's like you know, in high school, it's like you pass, you know, gym class, but you bomb the ACT. It's like for the big moments, you're not prepared. You're not keeping your cool. And that is when you're most exposed. I still think he's a good coach.
Why'd you just call me out like that?
Because I saw the way you were looking at me.
I got A+ in gym class. You want to know my ACT.
Yeah, you can't celebrate getting an A in gym if you can't maintain your cool for the ACT.
So good at gym.
I'm sure you were.
What I would tell him to do when he start freaking out like that and tripping, I'm going to tell him, I see commercials, right, about going up to Michigan and about Escanaba in Michigan. I'm going to tell him, go to Michigan and go get something to calm your ass down. Okay? Chill out.
Wow.
Chill out. Go make that
Kyle.
trip. Go make that 2-hour trip to Escanaba. Go get what you need to get and calm the hell down.
So what if your kids are acting like Matt LaFleur? Because you said there's no marijuana in the Wallace household.
They going to get that good belt. That's what they going to get.
CP.
Spare the rod, spoil the child. Not in my house.
CPS.
Not in my house. They know what's going to happen. Nah. I'm just gonna get ran over. But no, I'm dead serious. Like Matt LaFleur definitely needs to chill out because at the end of the
seriously, chill out, Matt.
No, because there needs to be a level of composure that he has. He needs to pick and choose when he wants to have those battles and when he wants to get mad. He needs to stay locked in and focused on the game plan. He needs to make sure that we are diversifying our offense by using all the versatile weapons we have and getting them the ball. Again, I just don't understand why we run these jet sweeps in some games and then we don't run them at all. And it seems like in these big games, I want Matt LaFleur to have a game plan and I want him to write on there. Make sure we find a way to Reed the ball. Make sure we continue to
give Love some good, easy, rhythmic passes to start.
For real. How often do we see Jordan Love do play action fake and just dump it down 2 yards to a tight end?
I saw it to Tucker Kraft. It looked really good.
That was like a screenplay, but I mean,
I know, but it was still an easy pass and it worked out really well.
That's what I'm saying. Just something nice and easy. Dinks and dunks can help build things, right? Like that's what we need. You don't need to take a big shot all the time. Sometimes all you got to do is dinking and dunking, and easy passes lead to eventually touchdowns potentially.
Speaking of loyal and speaking of loving to call in with emotion, maybe he will be like Matt LaFleur. Dan, it's your boy again. Welcome into Kyle, Brust and Nortman.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Yo.
Good afternoon.
Hey.
I would tell Matt LaFleur to stay the course. He has the youngest team in the league, a first-year defensive coordinator. He doesn't have a number one wide receiver. For the talent he has and the amount of experience he has ahead of Green Bay, he's done a remarkable job. They're way ahead of schedule. They haven't peaked yet. They still got like 3 to 5 more years of greatness ahead of them. To stay the course, last year was fool's gold. They're a little bit ahead of schedule. Stay the course, find a legitimate number one wide receiver and a legitimate number one stud defensive end that can rush a passer, and everything will be fine.
Sounds
stay
good.
Stay the course, Matt LaFleur.
Appreciate the call, Dan, but yeah, sounds good. Snap the finger, number one wide receiver, number one pass rusher, just show up to 1265.
Well, and that's what I said. Like, if the Packers are going to alter their course, they got to do something different. That includes Goody committing to a number one wide receiver, probably in the draft, because you're not going to go to free agency and fork over $35 million for somebody. And you got
to be like a T. Higgins, and I don't know if T. Higgins is the guys we're talking about. He's really good, but he's not the guys we've been discussing.
So you got to draft the number one wide receiver who actually hits, and you got to change up the thorn in your heel, and that is drafting trash defensive players.
Thorn in the heel?
Thorn in your side?
Yeah.
My bad.
You're our guy for those things.
I know. I've been hitting my linguistic words all day, and then I fail on that one. You have thorn in your side, and that has been not being able to draft consistent, high-octane defensive players. So, yeah, if you can do that, you're on the right track. But wait a minute. I'm hearing this thing over and over now. 3 to 5 years.
I don't know what the hell.
That's the second time we've heard that today.
5 years. Jordan Love contract ain't 5 years.
I'm going to be 40 years old in 5 years. What are we talking about here? 3 to 5 years?
No, if we're talking about
this is what happens when you lose 5 games. It's the justification of where you thought this team is and the switch of, all right, we're going to be good.
What it tells me is there's a level of acceptance that Packer fans are having for this season. That said, this ain't it. And we gotta move.
Dave from Aaron says, tell LaFleur to go on a retreat with Rodgers and RELAX.
Maybe he does need to do that ayahuasca. But the 3 to 5 years thing, that confuses me as well.
Is that as a Packer backer like you, Kyle, do you accept that?
Ayahuasca? Or 3 to 5 years? Because I ain't gonna lie, I was watching that documentary, I was thinking about doing some ayahuasca, boy.
Seriously?
Oh, hell yeah. It was chill. It was super chill. Like, you know
you like throwing up?
I mean,
is that the same one?
Oh yeah, you definitely. They didn't show that part.
Oh.
They didn't.
They showed the highlights.
They showed the highlights of ayahuasca. Let me tell you. Look up what happens when you drink grandmother ayahuasca.
I mean, I maybe need to cleanse the system, but overall, 3 to 5 years is unacceptable. Yeah. That's not based off what this team is. The team 3 to 5 years from now is going to look very different. The receiving core that we have won't be here, right? The offensive line still won't be here. Most of the people you see on this D line are not going to be on this football team. This football team in the next 3 to 5 years is going to transform to having a lot of different faces. So no, our window might be 3 to 5 years, but it's not going to be. We're going to start.
If we start a GoFundMe for Kyle to go to Costa Rica and do ayahuasca, would you?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I would have to read up on it first.
Okay, so he's out.
No,
you can't read up on it.
No, I can't be out there tripping.
You think you're going to be in a...
It's safe. It's a safe environment.
It made it look real safe and healthy, and I just can't
slide
be out
into
there
his DMs.
What would you rather do?
Aaron looks for people that are looking to change their lives through medicine.
What would you rather be forced to do? The darkness retreat or ayahuasca?
Oh, ayahuasca. I can't. I will go crazy sitting in darkness for how long?
4 days.
Oh, hell no.
But the guy comes every 12 hours to give you a meal and you talk to him.
No, I almost said something.
Get me out!
In darkness by yourself?
There's scratch marks on the sides. It'd be bad.
I would have a panic attack.
Oh, they make those so you can't get out.
Do they really?
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Solitary confinement is the main weapon of prisons. I don't know why you'd sign up for a purpose.
I'd be dead.
It's crazy.
I'd be dead of a panic attack.
There's no windows in those.
No, listen, I'm claustrophobic. I can't imagine it being there. I would not make it. I would give me the ayahuasca.
There's no windows in those.
Oh. Yeah, I love windows. And I hope you love Windows too, because my friends at Universal Windows Direct, they got you. Listen, I know y'all probably have friends and family around for the holiday season, and if they felt cold in your house or if they saw those old windows, they may be talking about you. I want to make sure next year nobody's talking about your house being cold or chilly. I want to make sure people ain't talking about how your windows is ugly. I want you to call my friends at Universal Windows Direct, because not only do they have great windows, they also have this great super spacer technology. And the great thing about this super spacer technology, what it does, it allows for your windows to perform better, last longer, and it helps keep your house more insulated against the winter chill. Look it up, super spacer technology, compared to the other companies, and I promise you, you'll come away saying, ooh, that's some good stuff right there. And if you act right now, for every 2 windows you buy, you get the next 2 free. There's no limit. Buy 4, get 4. Plus, Universal Windows is offering 0% financing for 60 months. That's 5 whole years of interest-free payments. And every window is backed by a true lifetime warranty in 20 years on to the next homeowner after you sell the home. Don't wait. Call them today at 414-410-2000 to schedule your free in-home estimate, or visit uwd.com. And like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
I can't wait for Brian Balaga at 4:45. You know, he is as optimistic as it gets. And from one trenches guy to another, Mark Chmura on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, he had some comments about what he thinks this team's future is this season. Next.
This is Kyle, Brust and Nortman.
I was like, it's the 4-1-4 hour at 4.
I'm not gonna lie. I feel like the kid who got picked on the sports team. I was like, "Oh, you want me? No way!" Because all last week, it was so much fun to do that, and I was like, "Well, I guess it's back to Kyle doing it now." And when you said, "Want to do it with me?" I was like, "Oh yeah, let's do it."
On ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
It should be an easy ride on the roads this afternoon. The only place I'm seeing a short-lived delay is 41 southbound, where things slow down just a bit past Mayfair Road and pick up again past Watertown Plank. Tonight, cloudy skies, a slight chance for a rainy mix to the south, a low of 33. Tuesday, we do it all over again with cloudy skies and another slight chance for a rainy mix, a high of 40. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Jessica Gatso on 94.5 ESPN.
Greg Matzek, Gary Ellerson, the day after reaction show you need in your life.
This offense, Matt LaFleur's side of the ball, dragged this whole team through where they are right now.
It's Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Mondays with Greg and Gary.
The defense got hot at the right time. That might be what we're seeing here with the Packers defense as well.
Live from the Potawatomi Sportsbook Studios from 6 to 8 p.m. every Monday on 94.5 ESPN.
Welcome to Milwaukee Bucks basketball.
Thought about the three, now good bounce pass inside to Giannis, who grabs it home with the two hands.
This is the BMO Bucks Radio Network.
Oh, my back.
Santa?
Gina Dello from Pella. You've been a good girl this year.
Is that why you're in here building new windows?
Santa's doing OT.
Let me make a call.
Frighteningly fast Pella team at your service. Let us take it from here, Mr. Claus. And Gina, next time.
I know. Ask for a Pella gift card. Right now at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, get as low as $19 per window and $81 per patio door per month.
PellaWI.com. Certain restrictions apply. Ends 12/31/2024.
It's time for the Ortho ASAP Minute from Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin.
I'm talking with Dr. Chris Killian. Doctor, if someone starts to feel pain, what are the first things that they need to do?
Certainly resting it. Ice can be helpful, anti-inflammatories.
So let's say none of that works and someone is looking for that next step to relieve their pain. Just because someone steps into your office, that does not automatically mean that that next step is a surgical procedure. Is that right?
We still kind of treat surgery as kind of a last option once you've exhausted conservative management. So those conservative treatments, again, being rest, ice. If it's your shoulder we're talking about, going through a period where maybe a short period of immobilization. And then the mainstay is physical therapy. We have physical therapists here specifically at Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin that work with us and train with us that allow a vast majority of people to actually avoid surgery altogether, depending on what their issue is.
The Ortho ASAP Minute is sponsored by Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. There is a difference.
Woo! Hey, this is Ben Brust from Kyle, Brust and Nortman on ESPN Wisconsin. People can't stop screaming about the Screamin' Sicilian frozen pizza, and no wonder. There's plenty to scream about, like the buttery stone-fired crust, secret recipe tomato sauce, mounds of whole milk mozzarella, and tons of premium toppings. Find Screamin' Sicilian in your local grocer's freezer and find out for yourself why Sport called Screamin' Sicilian's Holy Pepperoni frozen pizza the best of the best. Screamin' Sicilian, taste what all the screamin' is about.
What happens when you mix a three-time Wisconsin Sports Writer of the Year with a Packers Hall of Famer?
I'm not going to get into the Kringle turnover game, so that's what it needs to be.
Kringle
I think his legs. Yeah.
Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
Like the pastry
you guys being
turnovers.
serious? You guys can't put two and two
I got
together.
it. I could not get it.
They don't call themselves Racine Danish
I'm
turnovers.
sorry. Sometimes I wonder about you too, man.
Catch him from 9 to noon right here on 94.5 ESPN, the Wisconsin On Demand app, and at ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube. This is Kyle, Brust and Nortman, KBN, on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Peace up, A-Town. Yeah.
Chewy's a Packer Hall of Famer, right? I mean, that's why we have him on the air. Otherwise, if he didn't have that next to his name, I don't know if we'd let him on from 7 to 9. Mark Chmura, host of Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, had some interesting comments as you'll see in Kyle, Brust and Nortman leading you to the Homer Hour at 5 o'clock. 800-990-3776 is the ESPN Wisconsin talk and text line. Still taking your calls and texts for whatever you're feeling right now after the clarity that we all have after that Packers-Vikings games. Yes,
well,
Brad
I want to
Nortman.
get to Chewy, but I'm sitting here. I just had a little bit of a revelation. So to let KBN Nation peek in, I always have my laptop out, and I always plug my charger in, and I plug it into my computer.
Oh, yeah, he's a thief, ain't he?
And I left, and I came back, and I'm like, wait a minute, my computer is not charged. It's not in the charger. And I look at where it's like, okay, it's plugged in, and I follow the charger snaking across all the way to Ben Brust's computer. You walk in and pop out my charger.
Yeah, there was a 2-minute break from 3:58 to 4 o'clock, and you walked out to go get some water. So I was like, my bad, my computer is dying. I'm going to take that.
Oh, for the record, I graciously always say, oh yeah, for sure, take a charge. So I've created a culture of inviting that. But dang, I walked in, I was like, where's my charger going? And it goes right over to Ben Brust's computer.
Let me tell you,
that was crazy. No, I'm good.
He snatched the hell out your cord too and threw it because he was talking to me.
did.
I was there. He snatched it and he threw it over as he was talking to me. And I'm thinking to myself, as we're having a real conversation, I'm thinking, damn, he just grabbed Brad's stuff and just threw it. Like did I miss him asking Brad?
It's a computer charger, you losers.
No. It's about being polite and asking people. It's the principle, right? Sometimes it's about the principle, not about the action.
Ben said, I'm taking that charger.
No, he took it all right. I saw it.
All right.
Anyway, back to Chewy.
Chewy on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, mornings 94.5 ESPN, had this to say about the Green Bay Packers.
I have concerns. I'm already moving to next year. I'm sorry.
What?
I'm moving to next year because I said that this team would be there next year. I can't say that. There's too many holes. You need a number one receiver. The pass rush is garbage. I mean, how many sacks does Rashawn Gary have through 16 NFL games this year?
6.5.
6.5. Making a boatload of money. What about Lucas Van Ness?
3.
I mean, it's less than that. I can get you the official number here in a second.
I mean, those are your 2 starting defensive ends.
Pathetic.
That ain't going to get it done, peeps.
Peeps, what do you think?
Pathetic. Absolutely pathetic for them to have that low amount of sacks. He's right, but again, I wear my green and gold glasses, and I'm not going to give up on this season. I understand the road to the Lombardi Trophy is hard. It's not going to be
hard.
Easy. It's tough.
Yeah, it's going to be a gauntlet.
It's going to be a gauntlet. But the one saving grace I think this Packers team has is that though they are not an elite football team, they can play at an elite level once in a while, right? They haven't done it against the
once in a while doesn't mean 3 games in a row.
Have they played elite this year?
It is hard. Listen, it is going to be hard for me to come to the realization.
Have the Green Bay Packers played elite this year? I just want to see the results.
30 straight. I mean, they have 4 or 5 straight games where they scored 30 points. And on top of that, it is hard for me to believe that this football. I mean, this is what I said was going to. Didn't I tell you what's going to happen weeks ago? I said, listen, what's going to happen is that they're going to lose some of these games, and they're going to say Seattle game didn't matter, this game didn't matter because it still ain't proved nothing, and the Green Bay Packers haven't proven anything. But it's hard for me to believe that the Green Bay Packers will lose this season and only lose 6 games and only lose to 3 different teams. The Eagles, the Lions, or the Vikings.
Well, what if they lose to the Bears?
I mean, that would be terrible.
That would be terrible.
I just want to throw it out there.
Be terrible.
That's been in the back of my mind this entire show is like, I don't know what to even think about this game.
Yeah, they can't really gain much. They are going to the playoffs, so mission success there. But they can only move a little bit.
But is resting guys going to help you get rhythm, or does rhythm matter for this team? Because if they have rhythm, they've had rhythm going into big games, and that rhythm has not translated into those games against the 3 teams that Kyle has mentioned.
Well, if they're going to have a prayer against Philly, then they're going to have a great showing against Chicago.
So your play for 60 minutes, no sitting?
No sitting. First of all, it's a historic rivalry. Matt LaFleur is 11-0 against
So you're
them.
putting a rivalry ahead of playoff chances.
Well, and there's still an opportunity to get the 6th seed. The Commanders are playing at the same time. I would much rather play.
That's true. That's true.
And there's something small to play for.
And that's what you're playing for. Is you're playing for that 6th seed. And I understand we as fans and the team care about that. But you're playing for the 6th seed. But on top of that, the best opportunity you have going into the playoffs is having a healthy football team overall, having a healthy Josh Jacobs, having a healthy Jordan Love, having a healthy Jaire Alexander, having a healthy Christian Watson. That is the only way that you can play to the best of your ability.
Chef Ed chimes in 800-990-3776. reality sucks. We're just not good enough.
Well, and that's basically what Chewy is saying, right? Because there's very few 100% totally complete football teams in the NFL, right? You're going to have some areas of weakness, right? The problem is the Packers' areas of weakness, they're critical, right? To have no pass rush, that's critical. You can have a couple of units that aren't all pro level, but if you can't rush the
Can't win a
quarterback,
championship with a bad front
you
four.
will get cooked. You give any quarterback in the NFL, even mid quarterbacks in the NFL time, they will cook you. So they are bad in the places you can't be bad. That's the problem.
And that might be the worst realization that we all had to come to is the fact that this defensive line and this defense has shown us consistently.
It's them.
Against high-quality opponents, right? We're not talking about Seattle. We're not talking about Arizona. We're not talking about Houston. We're talking about the top dogs. Against the top dogs, they go missing.
From Pettin to Barry to Halfley. At the end of the day, I think we can now say, oh, it's the scheme. Oh, we don't like Joe Barry. To, oh, it's now Halfley's team. And the way they've had success is scheming up different looks where they might send 4, but it's not all 4 defensive linemen, right? Like they do blitz a little bit more than Joe Barry did, but ultimately they're still not finding ways to get to the quarterback. And that is a lack of having talented players that can get you results.
Well, this is where it goes back to Goody, right? Because if I were to tell you that there was a position group on any team that had 3 first-round draft picks plus invested 20-some% of your whole cap in them, you would say, that's got to be the best unit in all of football. And that is the exact opposite in the Green Bay Packers. It's their worst unit and their highest level of investment. That is a critical, damning type of statistic, and they can't overcome it.
Okay, so I know right now it's doom and gloom. A lot of Packer Nation, KBN Nation, we're all upset right now. Rightfully so. We're all mad about the result.
Not everyone. There's a 3 to 5 year plan, remember?
I mean, some people, but this season, a lot of us think that this season is over. Jason Wilde talked about it. It sounds like Tauscher jumped off that train. We know Chewy jumped off that train. And it seems like you two, Ben, by the way, I'm still willing to buy that ticket from you.
I mean, I'm going to keep it. And
Why not? I mean, I can give you $15 for it.
No, that's good. I'll just keep it and rip it up.
No, I'll buy it from you.
That's all right.
Okay. Well, you got a little hope then, huh?
I mean, I'm not just going to throw away money. It's $60.
You can recoup some money.
You can recoup some of it.
Actually, $15.
15.
Deal.
All right, here it is, $15.
Okay.
So, but this is why I led to that.
So the deal is, by the way, for those who don't know what the hell is going on, I have a future for the Packers at plus 1,500, 60 to win, 900 plus the 60 back. You're buying that for $15.
I might actually have $15 in my wallet if I didn't give it to my little cousins begging behinds on Christmas Day.
Do we have the ticket?
Yes, it's in my backpack.
Oh, look at this. I do got $15 in my wallet. Look at that. Oh, wow. Where I got all this money? But anyway, I will say this. The reason why I say this is because the silver lining for the Green Bay Packers overall is the fact that when I look at this game, does Jaire Alexander make this game a better game for the Packers? Like, do the Packers actually win this football game with a Jaire Alexander?
Do they win?
Do they win this game with Christian Watson?
I don't think so.
No.
Like that is the silver lining is that you don't know. You're thinking about it because you've seen what Jaire Alexander can do against a Justin Jefferson where you don't have to commit
They were outclassed, outcoached, out-executed in every way.
But if the Packers get healthy, right? And I know we talked about this a lot.
Man, you can be the Packer backer of the century. You can spin it.
Because like I said, those teams are better than the Packers. So when somebody's better than you, you need to be able to have a full healthy roster in order to give them your best shot, right?
What if I told you from Jeff here that the Packers are a fingertip away from being 0-5 in this division?
I know. Trust me, I know because I
forget about that.
I saw a tweet as well. This one was sobering. If the playoffs didn't expand, they would have missed the playoffs 2 years in a row. I think it was Zach Cruz. It's pretty sobering.
Very much so.
But that's not the case. The Packers still have a chance. So I'm telling y'all, the silver lining is that Jaire Alexander, if he can inject a little bit of pride, a little bit of hope, a little bit of energy into this defense, who would have
pride from Jaire?
Inject?
Yeah. I mean, we saw Jaire's impact last year in the playoffs. If Christian Watson can help open some stuff up and give them more confidence, maybe, just maybe, they have a swinger's chance, a fighter's chance against the Philadelphia Eagles, against the Minnesota Vikings, and against the Detroit Lions.
Brian and Lake Mills, 800-990-3776. You're up.
Hey, I think we win that game if Zane didn't get hurt. I'm kind of joking with that part. They try to make the kickoff safer, and then all of a sudden...
I was thinking the same thing. I was like, those poor guys on special teams running down, and they made it safer and just right in the head.
Concussed.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, it is kind of going back on to Goody. He gets so much love Cooper blows up and everyone's, Goody, another steal in the second round. But we need to trade away our first-round pick because he can't draft in first round. And really, do we trust him to, with all the money that we're going to have for in the offseason, for needing to find those spots because the window is like next year and maybe the year after? Do we trust Goody to be able to do it? And I'm not certain about that. I kind of would go more that I don't than I do.
Do you trust Brian Gutekunst to put a championship roster together in the next 2 years?
No.
There it is from Brian. We're going to do that next, but first I'm going to tell you about Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Because if you do believe that, as soon as those future odds come out, you might want to jump on the Green Bay Packers. But it's truly a one-of-a-kind place. It has dozens of self-service kiosks, seating for over 200, a restaurant, which we all know is the kitchen. They call it the kitchen. That's all I need to call it. It's like, you have something good when you can just call it the kitchen. The kitchen. They bring out the best food. They have a full bar and a 2,000-square-foot video wall, 20-minute reserved parking spaces for... If you're in a rush, you can go in there, get in, get out, and you can use rewards cards at most of the kiosks to get those points along the way. So bet above the rest, paysbig.com/sportsbook. You can build your bets, build them right there, scan your QR code. When you get to the kiosk, it pops up right away. It's all you got to do. It's that easy. Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Do trust Goody to build a championship roster in the next 2 years. Let's exclude this year, obviously. Next.
This is Kyle, Brust and Nortman.
The comments were so mean, but they also were kind of funny.
Wait, I didn't see the comments.
They said popcorn back in middle school must have been tough.
Please don't pick me.
On ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
There is not much traffic on the roads. You'll encounter some minor slowdowns on 94 eastbound between 76th Street and the Stadium Interchange. Otherwise, smooth sailing. Tonight, cloudy skies, a slight chance for a rainy mix to the south, a low of 33. Tuesday, cloudy again and another slight chance for a rainy mix, a high of 40. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Jessica Gatso on 94.5 ESPN.
Ready for a win? Well, it's your year. At Potawatomi Casino Hotel Milwaukee, you could win over $2,000 in free play every month, all year long. Just play your favorite games and you might take the stage in the It's Your Year game show. 25 winners each Thursday. There's $300,000 in cash and prizes up for grabs this January. Yeah, we think it's your year. More info at paysbig.com. Must be 21 years old to play.
Dr. Aaron Holtebeck and his team at Holtebeck Eye Center make vision care a top priority with the latest technologies at their state-of-the-art Brookfield office. Dr. Holtebeck has been helping local patients with their eye care needs for over 20 years. And now, Holtebeck Eye Center is excited to add Dr. Nausheen Abbas to their team. Dr. Abbas is an ophthalmologist and cornea specialist that is now available to see patients. Located in Brookfield near the corner of Calhoun and Capitol, learn more about their services at holtebeck.com.
Hey ESPN Milwaukee fans, Gary Austin here from our friends at Best Electric Service. An A-plus Better Business Bureau family owned and operated who have been serving you for over 50 years. No job is too big or too small, whether it's making panel upgrades to your home, new LED in lighting, electric vehicle charging, and all residential service calls. Best Electric provides quality service at fair prices. They are experienced and licensed electrical contractors ready to get to work. Connect with the Best Electric Service. Find out more at bestelect.com.
Get organized with a new Dakota Closet System on sale now at Menards. Dakota Closets are versatile and can be installed in any room, from home offices and laundry rooms to walk-in or reach-in closets, and even kids' playrooms. Dakota Closets are available to take home today, giving you more time to organize. Pick up a wooden laundry closet system. Plus, check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
Woo! Hey, this is Ben Brust from Kyle, Brust and Nortman on ESPN Wisconsin. People can't stop screaming about the Screamin' Sicilian frozen pizza, and no wonder. There's plenty to scream about, like the buttery stone-fired crust, secret recipe tomato sauce, mounds of whole milk mozzarella, and tons of premium toppings. Find Screamin' Sicilian in your local grocer's freezer and find out for yourself why Sporked called Screamin' Sicilian's Holy Pepperoni frozen pizza the best of the best. Screamin' Sicilian. Taste what all the screamin' is about.
Football season. Best time of the year and my favorite time of the year. This is ESPN Wisconsin's Brad Nortman. On game days, my favorite teammate is a cold carbless in my hand. Premium cocktails in a can made right here in the great state of Wisconsin. Maybe it's when I'm at the tailgate ahead of kickoff or getting ready at home for the game. Carbless is there. 0 sugar, 0 carbs, and gluten-free. Carbless features classic cocktails like margarita, Paloma, and even Moscow Mule, and vodka cocktail flavors like cranberry, lemon, and peach. Find it on your next grocery trip. Carbless. Less is more.
You're listening to Kyle, Brust and Nortman, KBN, on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
Like it's stove after stove, stroke on the smoke. They tell me to quit, don't listen what I'm told.
If your dogs don't always listen to you and ask yourself, hey, why don't you listen to what I say? Look no further than Sit Means Sit Dog Training. You can have a happy, confident, and obedient dog. And in the Green Bay game night post-game show, they always do the dog of the game. What do you think the Packers dogs sounded like last night? What?
It's not like cats. They're felines.
Well,
ruff, ruff.
Contact Sit Means Sit Dog Training in Milwaukee or Waukesha to schedule a free consultation with Matt and the team. SitMeansSit.com and check out the Milwaukee and Waukesha pages. 800-990-3776. Kyle, Brust and Nortman across ESPN Wisconsin. Do you trust Goody to build a championship roster over the next 2 years? Speaking of this year, not those next 2 years, I have here on YouTube.
There it is.
Don't steal that barcode. Ooh. Packers to win the Super Bowl, plus 1,500. $60 to win $960. This is the definition of probably buying at the right time for Kyle, right? Buy low, sell high. I'm probably selling at the worst time.
Yeah, but you have more information now.
Yeah, and Kyle's just doing this with his pocket change.
Yeah,
I got $10.
What do you mean you got 10? You said 15.
Oh, you got change for a 5? For change for a 20?
Oh my gosh.
You got
I'll find you 5.
Or should I just Venmo you?
Just give me the cash.
Okay.
There it is.
I'll find you $5.
Kyle, now the proud owner of a Super Bowl.
Come on, Packers.
Ticket.
This is more than just talking about y'all winning the Super Bowl. It's about me winning some money.
They'll pay for your ring.
Ring for what?
You're an owner.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
They make you pay for that ring?
Brad, it's the Packers.
What do you think?
How much is it?
I heard it was like $2,000.
$2,000?
So I heard.
For a fake Super Bowl ring?
It ain't fake, Brad. I'm a shareholder.
I guarantee they use lab grown on those. Dominic in Milwaukee, 800-990-3776. You're up.
Hey, how y'all doing, man?
Good. How are you?
Hey.
All right, man. I'm usually, I listen a lot, but I never call. And Kyle said something, man, that had me. I'm like, man, let me call. Because Kyle, he said it, but he's not standing on it.
What'd I say?
Kyle, when you said you said missing Jaire, that was everything. You got the whole defense focused on one guy without Jaire there. Jaire, he's gonna pump he gonna get everybody pumped, and he gonna let them know, I got this. Y'all worry about y'all assignments. That's the impact of him was so big, you know.
I appreciate the call, Dominic. Now, I
agree.
No one's arguing the impact that Jaire has on the field, but no cornerback in the NFL is going to change the outcome of what was a lopsided 3 quarters that ultimately made the game out of reach.
And that's what's frustrating about some of these losses is that this Vikings game, the first Vikings game, the Lions games, the Eagles game was truly close. They have a final score that are close, but they never really were close the whole time, right? I mean, most of the game, the opponent was in control, and Sunday was no different. I do agree that Jaire is a really good player, I think that he is an all-pro level when he's totally locked in, and he would help the defense. But I ask you this, what would you do to get pressure on Sam Darnold? Because if Jaire's back there, that's great. Maybe he can defend for 1 second longer than anybody else could. But if you have a basically unlimited time to throw the football, you will find the open man, the wide receiver will get open, and they have too many weapons.
And it's not like Justin Jefferson was the reason yesterday.
Yeah,
he's a big reason of why Jalen Naylor got open.
Yes, he played a huge role. That's why we're having a number one wide receiver conversation. You take Justin Jefferson out that game, it changed the dynamic of that football game to me. Do they still win? Maybe, maybe not. But I don't think they have as many explosive plays that they had to other guys.
The Packers have 3 points.
And you still have no pass rush.
That is the big issue. But I'll let Carrington Valentine go up against Jordan Addison and fight all day, right? Like I'm going to give him some type of help. But when you got to focus so many guys on one area of the field with Justin Jefferson, it really plays a huge role in opening up the field for everybody. So if you remember last year, he was in Justin Jefferson's head. Justin Jefferson was talking about, oh, man, I'm not going to let Jaire get inside my head. I ain't worried about it.
Was that last year?
But don't you think?
Or was that 2 years ago? Because I can't remember because he's been off the field so many times.
That I believe it was last year.
And what was the stat that I had? He's never played against the Lions in the last 4 years. Is that the one?
Yeah,
so like this conversation is moot.
He's not reliable.
It's moot.
No, it's not. It's not moot.
It's moot because he's not on the field, Kyle. Just because you have a Super Bowl ticket doesn't mean you can just trick your brain into thinking this team's going to do something they can't.
It's not moot because we know when he's on the field the impact that he can make. The Green Bay Packers don't have a lot of game-changing players on defense. They don't have a lot of field tilters on defense. But what we do know, when healthy, and again, win is a big win. Big W, capital W-H-E-N.
No, it's all caps and the font size is 72.
But when he is healthy, Jaire can be that field tilter.
This is why it's also on Goody.
The margins are as wide as possible.
Goody knows Jaire's MO at this point, right? There's been plenty of years where he spent a lot of games, whether it be injured, not locked in, going out for coin tosses. So it's on Goody to not think of a proper backup plan for if and when Alexander isn't playing. So you remove him from the equation.
Rob Domofsky was a smart one. He said he would have traded for a cornerback at the deadline. We were all talking pass rush. Could have used one. We don't have one.
Yeah.
He's been out there for 6 games.
Yeah, not having a number one corner is going to hurt you in the playoffs. It definitely is. That's why Jaire coming back is so important. Those boys have been fighting their hearts out. They've been able to hold. They've been able to hold up deep.
Fighting their hearts out. It's their job.
Well, yeah. Everybody got a job, but don't mean you're great at it against better people.
Does fighting your heart out mean you're doing a good job?
Okay, let's not act like
Just tell us about UWD. I'm just trying to trigger you. All show, I've just been like poking at you, trying to get the emotions out.
Because y'all know I love my boy C. Valentine, boy.
I don't know why. I mean, like,
it's one of those irrational.
He's not good. He's not bad. He's kind of just.
He's just a guy.
There.
All right, look at what Pro Football Focus says about him. He's a pretty good cornerback. He's not an all-star. But you know who all-star is?
PFF, baby.
Universal Windows Direct. Their PFF is through the roof, and you can have Universal Windows Direct so easily by simply just calling them today. What I want y'all to do, all right, if you're thinking about getting new windows, don't have the pressure of buying new windows. Just have somebody come to your house, give you a consultation, take a look at your windows, show you their product, show you the double-hung windows that they have, and show you the lifetime warranty that they also have, show you the also super spacer technology that will set you up, and all it is providing you with information on how you can make your home more energy efficient, how you can make sure your home keeps all the cold air outside and all the heat inside during the wintertime, but more importantly, how you can get a deal such as buy 2, get 2, or buy 4, get 4. That's exactly what Universal Windows Direct offers. So I want you to do this right now. Call them today at 414-410-2000 to schedule a free in-home estimate. It takes an hour, but you get a lot of great information. And when you do that, if you choose to work with them, do know that you can get 0% financing for 60 months. 5 whole years of interest-free payments, and every window is backed by a true lifetime warranty. So if you're thinking about it, make the call today or visit them at uwd.com. And like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
Brian Balaga, full of knowledge. He'll be on the Homer Hour. He's going to join us next. We need him.
This is Kyle Brust and Nortman, KBN.
Do you wash your shins in the shower? We shower from hair to kneecap. The rest can drip down our legs to our feet.
It doesn't work that way.
Not
no, it does work that way.
What does the poll say?
34% don't wash their shins.
That is shockingly low. KBN Nation, you're better than that.
Yeah, it sounds like we have a lot of disgusting human beings on this planet.
On ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com. What happens when you mix a 3-time Wisconsin Sports Writer of the Year with a Packers Hall of Famer?
I'm not going to get into the Kringle turnover game. So that's what it needs to be. I think his legs. Yeah.
Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
Like the pastry
Are you guys being
turnovers.
serious? You guys can't put two and two
I got it.
together.
I did not get it.
They don't call themselves Racine Danish
I'm
turnovers.
sorry. Sometimes I wonder about you two, man.
Catch him from 9 to noon right here on 94.5 ESPN, the Wisconsin On Demand app, and at ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube.
Whether you're about to graduate high school or have been in the workforce for years, it's time to take control of your future. Welcome to Lakeland University, where you call the shots. We use our flexible learning formats to customize your degree path. In person, online, and virtual classes are all available. Lakeland University is designed around you, your goals, your schedule, your future. You can even earn up to 25% of your degree via paid work experiences. Ready to take control of your future? Let us customize an education to fit your needs. Visit lakeland.edu/ESPN to learn more.
Oh, my back.
Santa?
Gina Dello from Pella. You've been a good girl this year.
Is that why you're in here building new windows?
Santa's doing OT.
Let me make a call.
Frighteningly fast pellet team at your service. Let us take it from here, Mr. Claus. And Gina, next time.
I know. Ask for a Pella gift card. Right now at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, get as low as $19 per window and $81 per patio door per month.
PellaWI.com. Certain restrictions apply. Ends 12/31/2024.
An ESPN Radio Extra Point with Q Myers.
Kirk Cousins is in a good scenario, and I'll explain why. One, I think teams will be in a good position because there's still going to be money that's guaranteed to Kirk Cousins that Atlanta's ultimately going to eat, similar to what we saw Denver do when they moved on from Russell Wilson. This draft, Gabe, is not deep in quarterback. It's just not. There's two guys that are basically being pegged as first-round selections, Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders. There's teams that need quarterbacks, and there's teams that might not be able to go and get one of those two guys, and they might not be in love with the rest of the guys in the draft class. So you look at Kirk Cousins, who, as you mentioned, looked good coming off the torn Achilles early, faded towards the end of the season. Now he's going to be rested because he's not playing. He's going to be a year removed from the Achilles. He's probably going to be able to sign somewhere cheap. He might end up being a starting quarterback in 2025 for a team that ultimately can't get who they really wanted.
FX's Say Nothing.
We thought joining the IRA was the noblest thing a person could do.
Northern Ireland, 1971.
They could beat us, they could shoot us, but the one thing they could never get us to do was talk.
Based on the true story and the New York Times bestseller.
You were taught that you were fighting in the name of the people. And I think people should know that it's all lies.
FX's Say Nothing. All episodes now streaming on Hulu.
Lowe's knows how to help you save time and money, no matter the job. That's why we can deliver supplies to your job site as soon as same day, so you have more time to get the job done. Because when you need it fast, we've got you covered. Lowe's knows pros. Valid on eligible in-stock orders and select zip codes placed by 2 p.m. for same-day delivery by 8 p.m. Subject to driver availability. Fees vary based on purchase. More terms apply. See Lowe's.com/same-day delivery for details.
Join the roar of 18,000 Bucks fans at Fiserv Forum and be a part of the slam dunks, game-changing plays, and electrifying victories live. Witness the edge-of-your-seat action and unforgettable moments as they happen. You don't want to miss this. Grab your calendar, handpick your favorite matchups, and secure your seats for Dame time in Milwaukee and every incredible moment that comes next at Bucks.com/tickets. That's Bucks.com/tickets.
This is Kyle Brust and Nortman on ESPN Wisconsin and WisconsinOnDemand.com.
My night runs into morning all the time, and through my phone I'm scrolling. Bang my life.
Joining us now on Kyle Brust and Nortman is Brian Balaga, the former Packer. Brian, what's going on?
Not much, guys. How we doing?
Kyle's coping.
Probably the same that you're doing, right, Brian?
I'm doing all right. I'm okay.
So, let's just start here, Brian. There's a lot of reaction on a Monday, naturally, to a game in which really just never felt like the Packers had it in hand. They have to likely go to Philly, then to Detroit, and this team has now lost 5 games. The teams with better records than them. What could you say to Packer fans that could make them optimistic about the rest of the season?
Well, I mean, the rest of the season is that, the regular season's almost over and you could end on a high note, right? Like, that's the one thing. And then the postseason, I always feel and always felt that it is a fresh start. It really is. And I know that's so cliche, and it's, Brian, they haven't beaten anyone. That's good. I get it. And I understand. And I like to listen to the morning shows too, Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. And I like listening to everyone. I like to hear everyone's perspective and the fact that they haven't beaten anyone and everyone's down on them, and that's okay. And I understand their opinions and I respect them. But I can assure you no one thought that we would beat Atlanta in 2010. But we did. It's the fact that there's got to be belief. And I can assure you that this team in the locker room has belief. So what they need to do is take care of business in this last week against Chicago, build some belief, and go to Philly and try to play the best game they possibly can. Because I would say this. You want to play Philly right away. You don't want to play Philly later. I will say that. I would rather play Philly right out the gate than want to go there for an NFC Championship game. Because I do feel like Philly is the best team in the NFC right now. So whatever Philly ends up doing, if they rest guys this last week or they try to get Saquon the record, whatever it may be, I don't know what they're going to do. But Green Bay's playing their guys, right? They are trying to get this thing back on track before they get in the playoffs. I think the mindset of the two teams may be a little bit different. Going, into week 18 or 17, whatever it is now. So if I'm Green Bay, I want to play Philly right off the get. I mean, the 7 upset the 2 last year. Can it happen again? We'll see.
Brian, continuing with that thought, think back to when you guys made your Super Bowl run back in 2010. You had to win the last, correct me if I'm wrong, had to win a few games to just get into the playoffs. And then obviously that momentum curtailed you guys into being able to go on a long Super Bowl run. Kind of think of the same thing last year. Had to win some games, had momentum, had positive vibes. It seems like the positive vibes and the momentum that this team had was sort of sucked out of the room yesterday. So my question is, did you feel the juice and the momentum when you went on your Super Bowl run, even if you guys were a wild card? And do you feel like that's important for when the playoffs do start? Or do you feel like there's just a full-on refresh?
Well, I mean, I think the momentum is a good thing. And the difference was, obviously, with our team is we needed to win every one of them, right? Like, there was no, if and buts about it. Like, we had to win every single game. This team's in a different boat, right? They had clinched the playoffs. Like, this game against Minnesota was really for seeding purposes, technically, right? They had clinched the playoffs. I mean, winning this game in Minnesota was more of a feel good about being able to go on the road and feel good about beating one of these teams on the road, right? So technically, they had already punched their ticket. In 2010, we had no choice, or we weren't even getting into the tournament. So the scenarios were different. But it is always good, having that momentum going into the tournament. And that's why I kind of put a lot of importance on this last game against Chicago and having a good performance and playing really well and doing everything that you can possibly do.
Can I play a little devil's advocate quick, football. Brian?
Sure.
There's been many times throughout the season in which it was, all right, they beat San Francisco, even though they had Brandon Allen, but they beat them handily. The Dolphins came in, it was cold and whatever, but they still beat them handily. And then they go play a quality team, and you think things are getting better, maybe the pass rush, maybe this, and then they lose. It's just like that is happening so many times that, like, Xavier McKinney even says, we haven't beat anybody. They know that. Like, it's hard for me to say that, like, I mean, I don't know what your sources are if you're talking. When you say there's belief, it's hard for me to get behind that there would be belief right now, because that's a hard thing to do when it's staring you in the face. You've lost to 3 teams 5 times.
No, I get it. Listen, I mean, you're not saying anything that is wrong. Like, you're speaking complete factual, evidence there. But there's got to be some belief within the locker room, right? Or what are they doing there, right? There's got to be belief within that team, because if you look at what happened yesterday, right, there were a couple moments within that game. If a couple things happened differently, I truly believe it goes Green Bay's way, right? So, like, you look at that as a team and go, all right, if we are able to clean up, 5 to 10% of this game, we walk out of there with a win. And that's the way you have to approach it as a team. And I get that. That's happened in a couple of these close games. I don't really count the week one or the first game against Minnesota. I mean, that was over in the first half. I don't care what the score was at the end. Or the Detroit game at home. I don't count that one either. But the last two against both of those teams, those were close games, and they were in those games. So I just think that within the locker room, you got to have some belief that you can go into these places and get wins. You just have to play cleaner football and not make these small mistakes that are happening throughout the game. And that's the fine margins it takes to win in the playoffs and advance against good teams.
Brian, do you find anything, not concerning, but when you see Matt LaFleur's demeanor, is that something that you think may negatively impact the team? Because sometimes it just seems like he's a little not locked in, or he's complaining about calls. He just seems like his mind's in the wrong spot. Is that something that could negatively impact guys on the field?
I don't think so. I mean, I don't think. I mean, I think he's very engaged a lot. I mean, I think he's into it. I think he's always paying attention to what's happening, is what I always felt like when I was there and watching him on the sideline. I mean, I don't have a cam on him 24/7, so it's hard to tell what he's doing all the time. But it always seems like he's pretty engaged. And I will say this, he's got the players back. So no matter what's normally going on, is the guys feel like he's always behind them and he's supporting them and all that. So I don't think that that's an issue with him. Yeah.
Okay, good to know.
Old T came at him, so it was interesting to get somebody who played for him and somebody who hasn't. But maybe Old T's just starting to get old and is out of touch with the reality of these coaches. Brian, we appreciate the time, and I'll send you that clip. You'll enjoy that one from Old T. We'll talk to you soon. All right.
All right, guys. Take care.
Happy New Year.
Coming up next, you got the Homer Hour with Brian Balaga in 2 minutes. Thanks for hanging out. We'll be back with you soon. Don't go anywhere.
It looks like we might not hit that rush hour traffic this evening. No incident.